You know, the only way that I could start this program off, and I haven't started it off in a long time like this. What are you going to do when Big Sills runs wild on you? How are you doing here for the next couple hours? How we doing there? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are, how many days? 30 days until the NFL draft. 30 days until April 23rd. Are you ready? How you doing? You want to see that again? I know, Sue, you want to see it again. Big Gun Sills. Hey, come on, Sue. There you go. Big Gun Sills. Hey. That's right. 30 days until we find out the new direction of the Philadelphia Eagles or your favorite team. How you doing? Hey, Prince. Any day, baby. Any day. Hey, look at that. Look at those old guns, man. Look at this right here, man. Still got the two rolling. Ready to rock and roll. Don't think sitting on my ass. And National Cheesesteak Day. For you out there in Philly, it's National Cheesesteak Day. You know what it is here on the program? It is National A.J. Brown Day. That's what it is here. National A.J. Brown Day. How you doing? All right. Hey, by the way, thank God Zander caught me today. So I was reading a story about A.J. Brown being bankrupt. And I was reading the story, and Zander's like, Sells, you've got A.J. Brown on the mind so much, it's Antonio Brown that's got his $4 million spread out there on the bankruptcy market and people going in. And I'm like, oh, I thought maybe after that JSN deal, A.J. Brown was in bankruptcy. How you doing, right? I said, oh, man, I wonder why he wants out of Philly. Maybe he needs to make some more money. Well, the only way he's going to make more money and get another contract is if he gets away from that horseshit offense he's in the last 2 years. And if he gets out of that offense, by the way, Howard Eskin will join us at 4:30. So if he gets out of that horseshit offense that he's been in the last 2 years, maybe he will get another contract. Maybe they will extend him. And maybe they will give him another deal. So, I mean, that's what he's looking for. He's looking for another payday. That's okay, looking for another payday. And that's what he wants. He wants another payday. So do me a favor, hit the like button. Super chats go to the top. And let me ask you this, man. So let's start with AJ here. Would it be a bad thing to bring him back? Or how about this? Not bring him back. He hasn't gone anywhere. To mend fences and keep him on the team for 26. Knowing full well this guy hates it here. He hates it here. Is that in the best interest for your chemistry and what you're trying to do in building a new offense with a guy who doesn't even want to be a part of the building of the new offense? Here, let's ask that question. So we were talking to Zander yesterday about this. The brand new offense is being installed this offseason. Okay? Brand new offense. Sills, we've lost players, but look at the Bucks now. No Evans, no Levante David. Retires. Sorry, that looks like a 5-win team. I'm with you, man. You got no Evans, you got no Levante David, and you got no defense. So do you keep the guy on the football team? Look at what you're trying to do offensively. You're trying to rebuild an offensive attack. Whatever that's going to look like, and you got a player who doesn't want to do it. Do you want to go forward with that? Okay? Is that in the best interest of having him on your ball team when he doesn't want to be here? Is it better to have here, ask the simple question. You know, we were putting the show together and we were like, is it better to have him here or not have him here moving forward with the new offense? How he glazes him, if it was money, how he would pay. Howie glazed him if it was money, Howie would pay. Howie would not pay. Howie doesn't. Right now, he's in a tough position now. We're going to get to another topic here in a second. We know he wants 1,000 yards, that's for sure. Well, RC3, he gets his 1,000 yards, and he hates it here. Yes, it's an easy 1K year, regardless of how much he bitches. Again, he's been bitching the last 2 years. And to your point, M. Reyes, okay, he's 25-9 in 2 years with a Super Bowl win. And he's still fucking bitching. So you think what? A 7-win team is going to make him happier? Come on, man. Let's see. Sills, do you think it sounds crazy if Howie gets a proven edge? Hunt played safety at Cornell before he switched to edge. He's 6'3", 250, runs a 4.6. Same measurements as Cam Chancellor. Hey, guys, this ain't flag football where you could start moving dudes all over the place. This is NFL football. Those are expert techniques you have to play for safety, slot, corner, Will, Sam, right tackle, left guard, right guard. They're all techniques, dude. These are professional guys. You just don't wake up one morning and do this. And I'm not ripping you. Hey, let's pull a guy over and make a corner a safety. That doesn't traditionally work out like that. How many times has that not worked when people do that? And how many times has it? A handful of times. You've seen guys switch positions. And I'm not ripping you too, brother. That's not what I'm saying here. Let's see here. Yeah, well, get this. Well, I happened to talk to an executive that said that there is a handshake agreement. So I'll go with the guy who's in the building. Okay? I'll go with the executive of the Patriots. How's that? 1K a year is absolutely garbage for an elite wide receiver. Yeah, it's 60 yards a game. That's right, 59 yards per game. What kind of pathetic offense gives their number one Umaro Uno wide receiver 59 yards a game? And plus the less targets. Kid, my wife can't stand that. I love the Eagles. You got to show her the ropes. Okay, here. Source, trust me, bro. A handshake deal is like a bear shitting in the woods. Hey, I didn't fucking tweet that out. Or excuse me, I didn't text that out to anybody. An executive from the fucking Patriots sent me that in a text. I didn't make that up. I don't give a fuck if you believe it or not. Honestly, Sills, for better or worse, I just want him gone. I have AJ fatigue. I'd like to never hear about him again. I'm with you on that, bro. Kim. No, Sills, I think it's offensive, not only to the team, but to the fan base for AJ mentally checked out. That's worse than physical deterioration. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. I never played football, but I did other sports, and I could tell you a boxer cannot turn into a puncher. It's the same thing. Great take. Spectacular take. You're right. And a zebra can't turn into a horse. That's exactly correct. You are what you are, dude. AJ's a snake. AJ is a snake, bro. Sills, he's a great player, but having a snake around can cause chaos in your team and family. Shaq regrets leaving Kobe and not working out their issues after him left the lake. I got you, man. I heard Shaq say that too. Okay? I'm with you. You bitches think you are the Pats. Not sure what that means. But compared to us, let's see here. You can't turn a hoe into a housewife. All right. I would say this. Yeah, get that guy out of here, man. I'll guarantee you. Watch this. You know what's happening June 1, right? He's being dealt. So all the shit that people are saying about handshake deals, this and that, it's completely irrelevant. He's going to be fucking out of here, man. He's going to be out of here. All right, so let's go to the main topic. So I want to go to the guy. So what's the dude's name? Let's see here. The guy from the Minnesota Vikings. So let me go over here to the Vikings. And I want you to make this to make sense on what Howie Roseman is doing. Okay? All right. So Jonathan Grenard. How old is this dude? Okay, January, February, March, April, May. So in May, he's 29. He's a Gator. No wonder he likes him. So he's 29 in May. How much money do you think that trade and how many quality draft picks are you going to have to send Minnesota to get that guy in your building? Okay? How many draft picks and how much money is it going to cost you to make this deal? What do you think? Well, how much money do you think this is going to cost you? I think there's an interim guy up there right now. They just blew out their GM. A 4th round pick? Yeah, no. A second and like $25 million. 3 years. You think a 2 and $25 million? Yeah, well, you're off on the money. 2 and a 3 and $30 million. Now we're starting to talk. Guys, anybody who's talking in here $25 million, there's no chance in hell that the Vikings are going to trade a guy and that guy's going to sign a contract with $25 million when the open market right now is minimum 30. That's not happening. He's not a $25 million edge. He's actually a better ball player than what Jalen Phillips was. You better up that number, man. I mean, you need to up that number and have a little bit more here. Let me see something here also. Okay. Was down in sacks this past year, obviously had 3. Year before that, he had 12 and a half. And in 23 and 24, he had basically, 24 sacks? A year ago, using a different role, obviously, did not have it and regressed. Okay? Dude, you better look at it this way. If you're going to get that kid from Minnesota, that's going to be at least a 2 and maybe a 4, and you're going to have to pay that guy $30 million. So my question would be this. You were at $27 million when you offered Jalen Phillips. You're going to offer more money for an aging player who last year had 3 sacks, and you don't know what kind of impact he's going to have on your football team? That's the guy you guys are having wishful thinking on, that he's going to help your edge room? Boy, that's a downgrade. This guy had 3 sacks a year ago. He's going to be 29 years old. Why didn't you pay the extra fucking $3 million for Jalen Phillips? And don't tell me that he grabbed the deal in Carolina. He never spoke to him. He never did a Zoom. He never had any contact with the Carolina Panthers, the team that came up with the most cash Jalen Phillips signed. That's a fact, and we know this for a fact. As a matter of fact, he came up public. He said, I didn't talk to any team. Drew Rosenhaus did all the talking. I sat back. Drew came to me with the highest offer. We took it, and that's how we went. Because we were always going to take the highest offer. Howie's going to send 2 draft picks and pay a guy $30 million who's older and less production? Why? Why? I mean, tell me why. Why would you do that? Sills, Phillips had 2 sacks with Miami and 3 with the Eagles. Yeah, but he's younger. And he's $30 million. Why didn't you just play Phillips, who played into the system a year ago? My point is, Anthony, why didn't you just pay the extra $3.5 million? Why didn't you just pay the 3.5? And keep the guy in the building. He was going for the highest bidder. Get this. So wait a minute, Jason. Here's Jason. No to Phillips. So you're going to say yes to a 29-year-old guy at $30 million and 2 draft picks. So in the last 2 years, you'll pay a guy $30 million, lose a 3, another 3, and a 4, right? For what? To be in the same place you were before? Make that make sense, Jason. Okay, know what? So if you think you're going to go into the draft and find yourself an impact edge rusher, you're fucking high. What are you doing? Trade for Walker? You're going to have to pay him 30 and give up big-time draft picks because he's the number 1 overall pick of a couple years ago. Do you not see what we're saying here? You're in a dumber position today by not giving Phillips the extra cash. Flip-flop on what? What are you doing? I'm asking you what you're doing. Sills, not to derail you, but look at the history of the players who demand trades. Want to leave the team or force themselves out? What happened to their careers? Who were their superstars? Hey, I get it. Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, and all them dudes. Flip-flop on what? Hey, guy. Thanks, Prince. Appreciate you, bro. Okay? Oh, whoa. I'm not talking about me, Kim. I'm talking about Howie. I'm not talking about what I'm going to do because I am going to go get Akeem Messidor. But that guy's not going to be ready to be a star for the next 2-3 years. That's not what listen, when I talk what I would do and what I think they're going to do are 2 different conversations. Do we not agree? I'm asking you how he's doing, not what I'm going to do. Okay, well then, Jason, what's your plan at edge? What's your plan? What's your plan at edge? Hey, okay, RC3, how many years did it take Jalix Hunt? And Jalix Hunt still got a long way to go. He's showing signs of being a good player. He's not a great player yet. He's not a starting edge rusher yet in this league. Not yet. He may get there. But this thing's taking him 2 years. I'm talking about what are you going to do start the season on the 20s in 2026? What are you doing? Jason can't even answer the fucking question. Hunt is a solid pass rusher rotationally, and he may evolve into being a starter. Okay? I don't think Howie's going to get Gennard. Rumors Sweat available. Yeah, that's not happening. There's too much money owed to him by the Cardinals. They're not going to move Josh Sweat. Hey, by the way, okay, at the end of the day, that Josh Sweat deal is biting Howie Roseman in the ass big time. Hey, we can't sign anybody. Well, that guy's contract was $19 million. Just a year ago, it was $19 million. And the market has gone to 30. If Josh Sweat were on the open market right now, he would get Trey Hendrickson money. He'd be making $28 million. Do you think the voidable years in these contracts are affecting the Eagles more than what people know? Yeah, I do. They look like they're being frugal with money. And all these Timu signings. Even the Woolen kid. The Woolen sign tells you all you need to know. But remember, when you're talking, I heard Zander and John talking about Woolen. Hey, dude, end of the day, the money tells you who the player is. You may think this and that. Guy may have great metrics and all that. The money tells you who you are in the league. It tells you what people think of you in the league. You don't want to believe that. But it's not always. Jason, always. It's what they think of you. If the player doesn't produce, it's an over-evaluation. Look at the quarterbacks. Look at every position in the league. Not always. Well, I'll tell you what. The National Football League thought Jalen Phillips was a $30 million a year player because he got it and a 4-year deal to boot. That's exactly what they thought of him. The NFL market thought he was a 4-year, $30 million a year player. That's what they thought. The market dictates the money and that's why the Eagles are non-players in it. Exactly. $30 million for Phillips. You were one that said he wasn't. Listen, I'm not telling you what I would do. I'm telling you what he's done. You'd be killing how. Hold on. Wait a minute here. Once again, I will put this out there again, Jimbo. Howie Roseman should not pay $30 million for Jalen Phillips. Okay, what's your plan? To be back in the same fucking position you were a year ago because you didn't want to pay the $3.5 million? And you guys are telling me he's going to trade for the Gennard guy where you're going to have to pay him north of 30 and give up a 3 and a 4? You're in worse shape. That's what I'm talking about. Do you not follow? So in the matter of 13 months, you would have lost a 3, and a 5, and money, and you let Sweat and Phillips walk out. Why didn't you pay the $3.5 million? If you're going to go trade for Gennard. That's what they're doing. Me, I'm looking for a plan. That's what we're talking about. Do you not follow along? I'm probably sure you're not. What did I say that was too difficult there? What? Now listen, if you pay the extra 3.5, you don't have to give up 2 more draft picks, and you got a guy who played in your system. If you're going to pay the same amount of money for the kid in Minnesota, and you're going to pay Jonathan Gennard $30 million to give up 2 draft choices, why didn't you just keep Phillips? I'm talking about what you're doing and where you are right now. Eagles don't have to pay Gennard $30 million. More like, you ain't getting that guy. Dude, Trey Hendrickson just got $28 million. Every single edge rusher that was on the market or trade or being a free agent got north of $28 million, and Max Crosby was $35 million. Sills, get off. What's your plan then, Damon? What's your plan? Okay, get off Phillips. What's your plan? Get this. Dumb take. Paying underachieving edge rushers $30 million is bullshit. That's fucking irrelevant. That's what they're paying. Rusher that got paid that much don't get you to Super Bowls. You said it, bro. I know what I'm saying. What are you doing? Get this. He thinks this is a dumb take on what you're doing. It's not a take. In the last 13 months, this is what Howie's done. He signed a boatload of shit edge rushers on the Temu market. None of them panned out, correct? That must have been at least $7 million between Uche and what's the other guy? Ojulari. Must have paid $7 million for those two guys, correct? Okay. You gave up a third-round pick to get Phillips in the building. Okay. You didn't want to pay the $30 million. You were at $27.5. This isn't a take, guys. This is what they did. Dumb take. $3.5 million. You were at $27.5. The kid signs for $30 and 4 years. I'm telling you what you're doing, not anything else. Okay. Now you want to trade for Gennard, where you're going to have to pay another $30, and you're going to have to give up at least a 3 and a 5 for a 29-year-old edge rusher and pay him $30. So in this guy's opinion, this is a dumb take that Howie Roseman in 13 months would have given a 3 away, another 3, a 5, and guess what? End up paying the $30 million anyway. How's that? That's not even a take, guy. That's what you're doing. That's not a take. What's the take? What you've done? Or what you're planning to do? That's not a take. What was the fix? Pay 2 firsts for Crosby? $30 million? For 31-year-old Hendrickson? Who is Howie supposed to pull out of his ass? Okay. Correct. Now you add the other component, the failures of Nolan Smith. You guys keep telling me this guy's some great drafter. How come he can't get the edge right? Bro, this is his actions. Let me put this out here for you. Yes, Prince, check this out. Do me a favor, guys. When was Nolan Smith drafted? This began then. When Nolan Smith was drafted, what year was he drafted? What year was Nolan Smith? Okay. What year was he drafted? 23. Okay. Let me show you your history here since 2023 at Edge. 2023. What was he, the 30th pick in the draft? Right? He was like the 30th pick. First rounder. You ended up signing Bryce Huff. Right? Bryce Huff. You signed for $17.5. Free agency, correct? You signed him for $17.5. Then you found out that guy was a bum. And in 2024, you went into the season, you had Sweat, and you had Smith, you had Milton, and you had a formidable defensive line. And it was really a good defense. And all those guys were feeding off of one another. Well, because the unit was so strong and so good, everybody benefited. Corners, D-line, linebackers, you hit on Bond. Oren Burks was even a fucking player. Isaiah Rodgers was even a player. All of those guys benefited. 25 comes, you lose Milton, you lose Isaiah, and you lose Josh Sweat. I told you this past offseason. I said, you think Jalen Carter's going to be a better ball player not having Milton and Josh Sweat on the team? All of you said those two guys benefited more from Jalen Carter than vice versa. Well, you turned out to be wrong because Jalen Carter was dog shit, was hurt, and those other guys excelled. One guy had 12 sacks, and the other guy was playing in a Super Bowl. So you were wrong. So in that process, you ended up paying $17.5. And then you come out of that year, you go in and you sign $7.5 million worth of Temu ends. Joshua Uche and the other guy, Ojulari. Those two steps. Well, right now you're at $25 million. in cash that you spent between Huff and the Temu signings. Well, that shit didn't pan out that many of you said were. This is since 2020, the offseason of 23, since you drafted Nolan Smith. Smith doesn't turn out to be the guy. You end up having to go put a third rounder in for Jalen Phillips. This is since 2023, the pick of Nolan Smith. Now you got a third rounder on the table. What happens now in the offseason? You lose Jalen Phillips by $2.5 million or $3 million, I think it is. Yeah, 2.5. You offered him 27.5. He takes the 30 in the fourth year. So what do? Now your plan is what? Is to go get Jonathan Grenard and give up a 3 and a 5 and 30? So you want to give a 3 and a 5 and 30. Here's the two calculations you missed on. You missed on the evaluation of Sweat. And secondly, here's what you've done since 2023. It looks like you've wasted a first-round pick on Nolan Smith, who looks like a third-rounder. You wasted $25 million on Temu signings that you did with Ojulari and Uche. And now you want to give up 3 and a 5 and pay a guy 30 since 2023. What fucking plan is that? What plan is that? What's the plan at Edge? Help me out here. You haven't had a plan since 23. I keep hearing there's a plan. Where's the plan? And there's a good one too. And then you went back and you signed Grandpa Graham. I mean, since 2003, you've burned a first rounder. You've burned $25 million. Now you want to, and you burned a third round pick. And now you want to burn a 3 and a 5 and 30 on a guy. All you had to do was do this. Hey, I get it with Phillips. You didn't want to pay the 30. Well, what's your fucking plan? To go into the draft? Now you're going to go to the draft at 23 and draft a guy and think he's going to be an impact guy? Help me out here. Listen, Prince, I'm looking for a plan. Get this. Make our F sound like Bills or Giants. I'm asking you what, bro, I'm promoting out what you're doing. This ain't a take. This is not a take. This is exactly what you've done at Edge. This is not an opinion. There's no opinion here. I mean, I'm not sure what you're talking about, Reyes. What's the opinion on what you've done? Bro, if the Eagles thought that Nolan Smith was a star player last year, they wouldn't have traded for Jalen Phillips. Hunt was the guy on the other side. Bro, you're going off the rails. So there was nothing after Nolan in the draft. Then trade the fuck out of it. Dude, I'm not crying over spilt milk. I'm asking you what your plan is on March 24th at Edge. You're in this position since 23. That's 3 years ago. The only saving grace is how he usually benefits after he makes some mistakes as far as Edge. He put himself in a bad spot. He's in a bad spot. One-year gap fill with Cam Jurgen. Kick the can at the position and hope you hit in the 26 and 27 draft and see who's available next offseason. The plan is for Hunt and Nolan to improve like BG did. Bro, those two guys are not starting edge rushers. Chill, dude, you're getting worked. I'm not getting worked up. Free agency or the draft, dingus, it's not that hard. You have not gotten the edge position right in 15 years. No, since Sweat. You haven't got an edge right. When was what's his name drafted? Josh Sweat. You haven't got an edge right since Josh Sweat was drafted. Is Smith bulking up this season? He needs to put on at least 15 to 20 pounds. I don't think it's got anything to do with weight. I think it's got everything to do with him being built for the league, just like Nakobe. Since 2018, you haven't got the edge right. Yes, you are. You're so worried about our plan when this team has always made the playoffs. Bro, making the playoffs? What are you, the fucking Atlanta Braves of back in the day with Smoltz and Glavine? Seals, you were wrong on Davis. I'm not wrong on Davis. I think Davis had a nice year. I'm not paying a two-down guy $26 million. And I'm going to be taking a $26 million guy off the field. That guy's not one of the elite interior tackles in pro football. Sorry, dude. He's not. That guy makes as much or more money than Quinnen Williams. And you think that guy's as good as him? Give me a fucking break. You think that Jordan Davis is the player that, let me see here. How much does Quinnen Williams make? You think Jordan Davis is a better player than Quinnen Williams? I'm not debating you on anything any longer. Quinnen Williams is the best interior tackle in the East. He makes $24 million. You're telling me you think Jordan Davis is a better player than that guy who plays three downs? Get the fuck out of here. Okay, not even remotely close. Jesus. That guy destroyed your football team. Destroyed it. Let's see here. Let's see what this guy's done. Here's Quinnen Williams. Quinnen Williams. This guy has a 12-sack year, 6-sack year, 7-sack year, 7-sack year. And I guarantee you he comes back and plays even better this season. First team All-Pro. Dude's the best interior tackle in pro football. Oh, yeah, well, I see a guy who plays a position that's great. You're damn right I do. Not a guy who gets pulled off third downs. So you worry about our plan, about the edge, and whatever happens, you're not winning anything with those guys playing the position you have. I'm not talking about 17 sack guys. I'm talking about competent guys. And by the way, even when he signed Phillips, it wasn't good enough. So Howie's plan is spent in the middle of the D-line. Davis and Carter long-term means our edge will always be cheap and young. That lets us keep Coop. Okay, once again, Bob, I think this is a losing proposition. I think signing 4 guys and not having a strong unit, I think that's a losing. We'll find out. Hey, Bob, let's do this. I'll show you something here. Salaries for the 2024 Eagles defense. Let me show you something here. Bob, why this is not a winning philosophy, what Howie's doing. And I'll show you why. Jordan Davis made $4.6 million. Carter made $4.9. Bradbury made $4.3. Milton Williams, and he didn't even play. Milton Williams made $3.3. Quinton Mitchell was on a rookie contract, $2.6. Nolan Smith, $2.7. Gardner Johnson, $2.7. That escalating deal hadn't hit yet. Zach Bond, $1.6 million. Nakobe Dean, $1.4 million. Reed Blankenship, $1.3 million. That's your 2024 World Championship football team. Look at those salaries. 4.6, 4.9, 4.3, 4.3, 3.3, 2.6, 2.7, 2.7, 1.6, 1.4, and 1.3. End of the day, guys, the entire unit was good, filled with good players that had under market value deals. Now, what you're trying to do is say to me. You're going to pay Jordan Davis 26. You're going to pay $40 million to Jalen Carter. And you're going to pay what? The $17 million right now to Bond. And then you're going to pay 20 and 20 or 30 and 30 to Q and the other guys. And the rest are going to be filled in with Timu guys, right? Got to pay an offense. Is that what you're saying? I want to see that work. On what? Tell me what I'm doing. I'm pointing out what you're doing, dude. Not what I would do. How he's fucking flip-flopping on who he's paying. Dude, when you say that, it's because your organization is. Hey, get this. You guys all want to go edge. I guess Nolan Smith is not the guy then. If you go edge in the first round on the 23rd of April and you draft an edge, Nolan Smith is a bust pick. What are you going to do? Rotate him? Let me get this right. So you're going to put that guy on the bench too? Like you did Jahad Campbell? You're dang right. And that's why he's not a $26 million a year guy. He's a two-down dude. Vita Vea plays on third down. You said the money tells you who they are. Listen, yeah. You paid $26 million. No. I said this. This is an opinion. He overpaid for him. Now, Zander points out it's kind of with the fifth year, it's 22. That's not too bad. But I'm not paying big money to a two-down guy. I've been clear on that. Howie will keep the first-round edge on the bench for Nolan Smith. Okay, so get this. Here's Howie's genius since 23. And you tell me if you believe in what Spit is saying here on his genius. Since 2023, the 30th pick in the draft is not panned out. You paid Bryce Huff $17.5. You signed Timu guys for $7.5, which is $25 million between Huff and the Timu signings. The 2024 season, you let Josh Sweat walk. What'd you do in 25? You went to war with those two dudes, Huff and Nolan Smith, and they couldn't get it done. So much so, they burnt a third-round pick, and they went and got Jalen Phillips on a trade. They let Phillips walk for an extra $2.5 million. And guess what? Now you want to be in a position to trade for Jonathan Grenard, not paying the $2.5 extra million to give what Jalen Phillips wants, and you're going to give a 3 and a 5 up for a 29-year-old edge, all because you missed on Nolan Smith. That's genius, according to him. Okay? Fair enough. How would be a genius if he gave the best coach on the team, great players, signing sorry-ass offensive players to top dollar is not being genius. I think that's all morphed into that, though. Okay? Jordan Davis just had a better year than Milton. Bro, I'm not debating. Dude, Milton Williams is a better football player last year than Jalen Carter, and you want to pay Jalen Carter $40 million. They need to help at edge last year, and what did Howie do? He got Phillips. Correct. So wait a minute. Is that right? There's nobody in free agency, so you're going to spend more draft choices. That's your plan. Is that what you're saying? That's not a plan, guy. That's throwing shit against the wall. Hold on. No. They offered $27.5 million to Jalen Phillips. Jalen signed for $30. It's $2.5 million, the difference between the 30 and the fucking 27.5 they offered. I don't know what the hell I have no idea what you're talking about. Still's not saying he's right, but he can't commit money at edge until he offloads. Okay, let me see what your plan is. Okay, Bob, what's the plan? Now that I agree with. You should have signed Chubb. I would have taken Chubb. I think Chubb is just as good a player as Grenard. I completely agree. Chubb, what has Grenard done that Chubb hasn't done? Chubb's played for Vic. Grenard's not a better ball player than Bradley Chubb. In what world is that where that he's a better player? Show me anywhere where he was better. No. I didn't say he should have. No. What I'm saying is, what's your plan? I'm still waiting for the plan. You didn't want to sign the extra 2.5? Okay. What's your plan? You're back where you started in 23. Hold on. Okay, Prince, what's the plan? I never said spend the 30. But if you're not going to spend the 30, what's your plan? What is it? This is an exercise on where you're going. Instead of talking that stupid shit there, what's the plan? You tell me. Love to hear one. Love to hear one. Hook me up on it. Okay? I think they're stuck drafting in it. That is probably right. That right there is probably right. Okay? By the way, you see this shit here? So let me get this right. NFL draft. So you go to even lesser players than what you had in free agency, and that you think is going to fill the void? All right. There's another angle to this. Why is this important? This actually goes back to a conversation we had last year. And unfortunately, most of you were not smart enough to follow along with this. And I should have known that you wouldn't have been able to hang with this. And I should have explained it better. Okay. What's the other determining factor here, too? What's the other factor here on what the plan is on your defensive line with two players? What's the other determining factor? Right? I was 87.5% of the time right last year, without a doubt, on everything I said, except for the East. Wins. Who would pan out? Who didn't pan out? You were one and done. All of that turned out to be facts. Next. Okay? Come on there, Hollywood. Keep coming. Keep coming. Okay, keep coming. I was dead right in 22 and 23. I was dead right. M. Reyes was one of the guys telling you how great you were at 10-1, and I said an implosion was coming. Keep it coming, bro. Horrible year in 24. 5 years I've been on, 4 I've been a slam dunk. Keep coming. Stay where you were, Hollywood. Okay? No, they don't. First year? No, not happening. Hey, RC3, do you really think when you draft a guy, Nolan Smith hasn't panned out? Sidney Brown didn't pan out. You think all your draft picks are going to pan out? No, I wasn't. I picked him to win the Rookie of the Year award. You tell me. Okay, so let's go here. How much do you think Milton Williams and Josh Sweat not being on that D line? How much do you think that played into the injuries and the amount of reps that Jalen Carter took and what led to potentially his injuries? What do you think? Him not having good players on each side of him. How much do you think that played a factor in his production a year ago and his play? How much? By the way, remember something. Let's do this. 2024 snap count. 2024. I went and looked at this. Snap count for Eagles defensive players. Let's go here. Go down the line here. Here we go. Let's see. Let's go to hold on here. Let me find it. Regular season. Jordan Davis. Jalen Carter had 839 snaps in the Super Bowl year. Milton Williams had, here, let me go to the guys that were there. Josh Sweat had 622 snaps. Milton Williams had 501 snaps. The only player that had more snaps than those guys was Jalen Carter in 24. You guys were never able to really replace the snaps that you lost with your star players like Milton Williams and with Josh Sweat. Sweat had 622 snaps in the Super Bowl year. One guy had 580, the other guy had 622. And those guys were playing on each side of Jalen Carter. So let's take a look at the 2025 snaps. So here's your snap count for your defense. Let's see here. Where's Jalen Carter? Here's your ends. Jalen Phillips had 417. Jalix Hunt had 693 and was clearly lesser the player than what the guys you had. And all these numbers are down in snap counts on the other side of Jalen Carter. You couldn't have somebody go in there and pick up the slack for players on each side of Carter and the type of volume of snaps that he took in 24. The end of the day, you didn't have depth in the D-line, and you didn't have players with the production. Moro Ojomo was a good player, but Moro Ojomo was a backup guy in that 24 team. Dude, Moro Ojomo is not a fucking better player than Milton Williams. Are you fucking nuts? Who debates that shit and says that Moro Ojomo is a better player than Milton Williams? Man, dude, you know what, bro? You lost a lot with me right there. You're just stupid. That's a stupid take. Shows maybe how he's giving Nolan a shot to prove he can handle the job. If not, he will address it at the deadline. You're back in the same spot where you were before. He's not a better pass rusher. He doesn't do anything better. There's nothing he does better. He's a fine player, though. I'm not sitting that out like that. He's a fine player. Bro, Milton Williams is the reason that you see him with his numbers will never, ever give you the same thing that you do with Jordan Davis. They play him at all positions on that New England defense. 5, 7, 3s, 1. Put him in a wide 9. He's the most versatile defensive lineman you've had since I've been covering your team. There's nobody more versatile. You don't have another player that's played in the D-line like Milton Williams because versatility. I didn't say he was your best. I said versatility rise. There's nobody you've had in 5 years that played with that type of versatility. Versatility? What are you talking about? You take him out on third down. Production-wise, okay, Ojomo. Talent-wise, he's not. Milton is a top 5 free agent. The Pats have never signed. You know the best franchise in the game 6 times, and you want to talk Ojomo and Fat Davis. Dude, really, the New England Patriots are by far a better franchise than you. Shows you're tripping. I literally said, stat-wise, Moro Ojomo replaced Milton. Production, stat-wise, said Milton is a better player than Moro. You can't fucking read, dude. Thanks for the super. Appreciate it. Seals, can the kid Ty Robinson step it up in year 2? Or is he a potential bust? Man, I heard some bad things out of that kid's face last year. He just wasn't very well coached. Matt Rule and those guys at Nebraska, they did not do a very good job of preparing him for the NFL. I think his motor's good. That's about it. He's going to have to develop a lot, like hands. He's got to get off blocks, and he doesn't disengage good enough. Like engages, he stays. He's like afraid to get off. He's got to get off quicker. Get rid of the guy. Run around the block. Boom, throw him. Do something. Don't sit engage and play like a 0 technique. You can't play a 0 technique out at a 5 technique or a 7 technique defensive end. You can't. You've got to keep your outside shoulder free, because what are you trying to do? If you're defensive end, this is what Vic Fangio is trying to do. Okay? If I'm looking at you guys right here like this, okay? Like this. I've got to play a little bit over here to my outside. Why? Because I've got to keep my arm free, because I can't let anything get outside, because if they reach me, that means that stretch play gets up the sidelines and they're going to go for 10 or 15 yards. What my objective is, even if I don't make a tackle, I want to hit, I want to keep going with the guy, and I want the pursuit angle to catch up, and I want all plays going back inside. It's called keeping your outside shoulder and setting the edge. You don't have to be a 17-sack guy to be a really good edge player. I'm not looking for 20 sacks or 10 sacks. I'm looking for 6.5 and guys who can set the edge. That's a Vic Fangio defensive end. Dude, I think guys like Trey Hendrickson are overrated. 17 sacks and he can't set an edge? Fuck that. I don't want him. Okay? I don't want him. I don't want any of that. Okay? Let's see here. Zander knows this. He knows that they fucked up since 23 at edge. Because if you're back in the same spot as you were before, you're going to have to send draft picks and money. And you're going to have to sign a boatload of nobodies again. Here's what the Eagle plan has been since 23. Sign a bunch of nobodies, panic, send a draft pick, get a good player, lose the player to free agency, sign garbage players, wait till the NFL trading deadline, send a draft pick. That's what you're doing. And you've been doing it for 3 years. What's more of an issue coming into the year? The front seven or the DBs? The DBs are their collateral damage to what the front seven is. Gabe, think of this. In 2022, okay? In 22, you had 70 sacks and high volume of pressure. Your secondary was number 2 in the NFL in pass defense, right? They were number 2 in pass defense. In 2023, that volume went away. Okay? Okay? I mean, the 2023 season, that volume went away. What happened? Yet you were last. You were last in pass defense. So you don't win Super Bowls after you fuck up. Lose guys and draft the wrong guys. I'm not sure what you're saying. Sills, you don't win Super Bowls after you fuck up. Lose guys and draft the wrong guys. Explain that one to me. I'm sure I'm probably reading it wrong here. I don't know. A great front seven makes a secondary look great. Absolutely true. Because the routes don't mature. Talking about the past? Bro, I'm talking about right now. I'm not talking about the past. I'm talking about what led to the moment where you are, Spit. Spit, get this. Spit says that 2023 is not, even though how he looks in the future, we're looking at how he looked at that future. He was wrong. He gambled wrong in 23. All of that shit has led to the repetitiveness of where you are right now as a defensive front seven. It's not the past. This is the present. Still's just saying we fucked up since 20. No. I'm saying that the reason that you are over and flip-flopping every other year, there's 2 things you do that don't make you consistent champions. Not just consistent winners, but consistent champions. You don't do the same thing every year. You don't hire reliable coordinators on offense, and you're constantly in this same revolving door on defense. And that door's starting to slow a little bit because of some of the players that you hit on defense. Other than that, look, you had to fix the corner with a free agent. You didn't fix the corner in the draft. You're trying to figure out the edge. You didn't fix the edge at draft. And you got an aging and underachieving offense. This is where you are today. You actually haven't fixed the corners except for Q. And quite frankly, it really makes me like laugh a lot when I hear everyone saying that Cooper DeJean's a corner. He's not a fucking corner. Vic Fangio tells you all the time, he's a fucking slot corner, and it's more like a strong safety than it is a true outside guy on the numbers. He's not a true corner. I mean, that's not even the same technique. And like I said, the cornerback too, you had a Dory Jackson there. Okay? You can't fix the edge, and you can't fix your front seven. By the way, your top linebacker is a free agent as well. You think that Jahad Campbell's better than the free agent you signed? And Zach Bond? No. The plan is to develop Hunt. I'm not against this, but that takes time. Get Nolan back healthy. All right, let's take a look at that and go here with David and talk about Nolan Smith and his health and say, get Nolan Smith back. All right, I'm a fan of that. Let's take a look at Nolan Smith. And Nolan Smith, how many games Nolan Smith has played? Okay, so he can't really use his first year because he was around. He didn't start one game. So in 2023, he missed 7 ball games. Excuse me. He started 10 and he missed one game. This past season, he's missed 5 games. So he's missed a total of 6, and in the process, 7 and 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay? In the last 3 years, since you drafted him in the first round with the 30, what was it? What pick was he? What draft pick was he? 30? 30th? Okay. He started 22 ball games in 17, 4, 17. In 51 games, he started 17 ball games. Okay? 51 eligible NFL games. He started 13 games. Okay? That's the first pick. That's a first-round pick? I don't think so. I mean, 13 starts in 3 years? You think is a first-round pick? Based on what? Shit, Jahad Campbell. How many games did he start last year? 10? This guy's already halfway home. And the last one year has already equaled almost in 3 years what Nolan Smith has done. He's trash for being. He's not trash. That I'm not saying. That's not what I'm saying about him. I don't believe that. I think he's more of a. We said it on draft day. I thought he was more of a third rounder. It's okay. He's like a third rounder. I'm all right with that. Misses too much time. He's only started 13 games in the last 3 years. Okay. But a 30th pick? Yeah, no. Getting Nolan healthy is like getting Embiid healthy. Yeah, well, 3 years, 17 games, dude. That's 34. 17. That's 51 games. Okay? 51 games. 51 ball games. Okay? Let's see here. Let's see. What the fuck does Trump have to do with anything? Another dean when it comes to health. He's a UDFA top. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe he's a UDFA player. It happened. So what's your point? Have you not been watching, David? The point is that since 23, you're in the same fucking position. I like David's plan. Would still add the best. Would still add the best edge that fits the scheme budget before the season, with the understanding I can always add an edge at the trading deadline. Again, that's another draft pick. So you're going to have to trade another draft pick to be in the same spot come trading deadline. This is now, again, 3 years of doing this. How do you build consistent? I'll tell you what, you really love Vic Fangio. You really love Vic Fangio. By the way, Howard Eskin's going to join us at 4:30. Sales Reddick is floating around as a possibility. What do you think? Depending on what the number is. I'm worried about this old line. Lane coming off an injury. Dickerson considering retiring. Juergens coming off injury. I hope Howie gets Messidor. I like Messidor. Okay? Bro, he cannot play edge. Okay, so listen. You think Jalen Carter can play edge? Really? What about the middle of your defense? You just got through telling me your main investment is in the middle of your defense. Sills, what's the point of drafting Sadiq when we got to fix the trenches? I prefer drafting from the inside out, but if he's the best prospect, take it. The reason that I said that, what are you going to do with this new offense to make it better? What are you going to do? Are you going to attack the middle of the field? Are you going to throw screens? What are you going to do? And do you have the personnel to do that? Get this. They obviously don't think throwing to the numbers is the offense that they... Do we not agree here? You have had... How many years have you had double-digit 1,000-yard receivers in the last 5 years? How many? How many years has both those receivers gone over $1,000? How many? Anybody? Is it 2? Is it 2 of the 5 years, or is it 3 that they've gone over? What is it? How many? How many times have they gone over? I want to talk about the draft pick here. And the reason why I think the kid from Oregon makes sense in what they're going to try to do. How many times has they've gone 4 times? According to Spit, they've gone 4 times in the last 5 years. They've had 1,000-yard receiving years. Is that correct? 3 times? I think it's more 3 times. Okay? 3 times. Okay? 3 times. So you have 2 1,000-yard receivers 3 times in the last 5 years. And yet they want to change the offense. Okay? Well, how are you going to change it? Here's another case. What's the plan on changing it? Are you changing personnel? Are you changing philosophy? Do you have the same people to be able to change? You just can't go, well, let's just try this now if you don't have the personnel to fit it. You don't threaten the middle of the field, and you don't have a screen game. Do you understand that? To me, that's why the guy, I always say, Hurts will never throw for $4,000. It's because he doesn't throw across the middle of the field, and he doesn't have a screen game. And when you don't have checkdowns the way that other guys have checkdowns, you're not going to throw for 4,000 or 5,000 yards in today's NFL. You're just not. Okay? Well, that means you have to have a pass-catching tight end. Do you go double tight end set now? More under center? More play action? To get Barkley more involved? Obviously, throwing to the numbers, they want to change that. Or at least put something else of a variation to it. Don't they? Crossing routes with wideouts. Tight end down the seam. Okay? That's something they don't do. That's something they don't do. So, who are you doing this with? Crossing routes. Well, crossing routes, that means the quarterback's got to read it and be able to fundamentally read defenses. No pre-snap, no pre-snap reads, post-snap reads, all of that. Things that he hasn't done in 5 years. You guys think he can do it. Well, he hasn't. And he's never been asked to do it. So, okay, I'm not going to debate that. So they need Hurts to do more. So let's ask you this. Is that what this is about? They're going to ask the quarterback to do more this year? And they're going to rely on him to do more? There's nothing wrong with that take. Seals, they hate you because you're right. Philly fans just can't accept the fact that they don't have all the pros at every position. Well, it's listen, it's a great organization, dude. They do a ton of things right. That's not where I'm at here. I'm talking about keeping your window open and being one of the top 10 teams in the NFC, which I believe you are. You're right there. But I think you're more at the bottom 10 than you are at the top 10. Also, you need a healthy all. Hey, Mr. Hill, to think that your offensive line is going to get healthier as they're getting older is stupid. You think players get healthier as they get older? Not you. I'm not ripping you. But do you think players get healthier as they get older? Who thinks that? Nobody has all pros at every position. Who the fuck said that you had to have? You didn't have all pros at almost any position in 24. Did you not hear that, dickhead? Obviously, you didn't. I pointed out your 2024 team. Nobody made over $2.5 million on that 24 team that won you the Super Bowl. You didn't have anybody on that team that was making significant money. Nobody. Fucking dumb. No, Sills, that's my point. The O-line is healthy. Isn't healthy. No, and they're not going to be. Dude, 27 years old and 14 surgeries. 27-year-old is irrelevant. Add the 14 surgeries. That's what you've got to be concerned about. The offensive coaching staff they hired is more suited for McKee than Hurts. Francis, it's more suited for Nick. Don't you see? Listen, when they hired Kellen Moore is a passing coordinator. All the coaches went like this. We can't put the ball in the hands of Hurts on a week-to-week basis. We're not going to go anywhere. He's going to turn the ball over. We're going to fucking run the ball. And they did. I'm not saying that Jalen's not capable of having sporadic games, but that's what 24 was. It was a sporadic few games that he played really well in. The rest of them were Barkley and running the ball. That was the year of Saquon Barkley. I love how everyone's trying to change the narrative of 24. Dude, 24, Hurts was the caboose on that team. Hurts is going to be asked to be the engine on this team. Okay? He's going to be asked to be the engine on this football team. Okay? The sticking point in most of these deals they turn down is the term of the contract. They want to be able to move on if they're not a good fit for the next DC. Dude, they've been signing 1-year contract guys since I started covering you and 1-year prove-it deal. Like the guy Tariq Woolen that you guys are all high on, ability and potential are the worst fucking things that anybody will ever hear. Every single time, I think I heard Jeff Kerr say this too with the guys. When you hear the word potential, I'm out. I'm fucking out. Okay? You're right, RC3. Hurts was the entire driving force for the 2024 Super Bowl football team of the Philadelphia Eagles. You're right. He was the driving force behind that football team with the 28th ranked passing attack. You're fucking dead right. Not debating that idiot with you anymore. That is a fair point. It's been continual issues. I'm dumb because you can't remember the last Super. No, whatever, guy. Thank you for the Super, though. Everyone has to prove themselves every year. It's all potential. So wait a minute. You think Patrick Mahomes has to prove who he is? Or Devontae Adams? Or A.J. Brown? A.J. Brown doesn't have to prove shit. Saquon Barkley doesn't have to prove shit. Those guys are who they are, dude. Great play. You think Myles Garrett has to prove himself every year? The fuck out of here. That's why people have players like that on their teams and they sign guys that call them Parcells guys. You know why? You trust them. Yeah, okay. Bro, if you have great players on your team, you don't have to worry about them because you know they're going to be great players every year. You're right. Okay. Every year. Well, then how come you have the same fucking dudes on your offense and they've underachieved? AJ needs to prove he can catch the ball all the time. That's such a fucking stupid comment. Hey, was he engaged in that Niner game? No way. Should have read his scouting report. Hey, don't be shocked now on March 24th that A.J. Brown drops footballs if he's not completely focused. You knew this when he came out of Ole Miss. Now you're shocked? What are you, fucking dumb? I mean, what are you, fucking dumb? Stills, what plan would you suggest for the edge? I'm not getting a dude like Crosby. I'm not giving up draft picks like that. I'm going to have to draft guys and hope I hit on them. And Howie has not hit on edge rushers. He has not gotten that position right. I don't care what you think. He can't draft an edge. Who? Josh Sweat in 18. Okay. You've got to hope he hits there. Like he did. By the way, can that narrative change? Absolutely. Absolutely. It did with Q. Prior to Q, they were very, very suspect at corner in the drafting process. Okay? Those guys are okay players. They're not frontline starting guys and superstar players. Those guys aren't like, look, Hunt's going to be somebody, I think. And Moro Jomo, let's put another year in. Let's see how he plays this coming season. Hey, and by the way, one thing before we get Zander in here. Do you think if you don't have that edge situation in your front seven, you think that plays a factor in the production of Jalen Carter? I asked you this last year, and you know what all you said? Hey, Josh Sweat and Milton Williams benefited from playing next to Jalen Carter. Okay, well, those guys carried their game to other positions and other organizations, and they had better years. So my question would be this. If you put lesser players around Jordan Davis and around Jalen Carter, and you don't have that front seven figured out, you don't think that affects their play? Or do you? This is called a football unit. It's not called a two-game touch game like you saw that wormy thing on Saturday. Football is a unit. It's not two guys. It's not three guys. Okay? It's a unit. I showed you. One more time before I get Z in here. That 2024 team that won the Super Bowl, not one guy made over $5 million. They were all $3 million. I mean, Zach Bond made 1.6. I mean, they were all making limited money. All limited money. Guys were on rookie deals. Guys were on one-year contracts. Milton Williams made, what was it, 2.3? Not one of those guys made any money. Why? Because Vic put good players who were under market value deals. The 2024 team that Howie and Vic put together is the greatest achievement in Howie Roseman's career. That year, what he did, one more time here. Again, Z, I'm going to come to you right in a second here. 2024 Eagles starting defense salaries. The team that ended up being number one. Okay? Slay made the most money. Made 10. He did. I forgot 10. He made 10. Carter, 4.9. Davis, 4.6. Milton, 3.3. Gardner Johnson, 2.7. Smith, 2.7. Quinion, 2.6. DeJean, 1.6. Avante Maddox, 1.6. Bond, 1.6. Blankenship, 1.3. Dude, you couldn't pay that fucking defense today. Those guys today would be making $40 million. That was unbelievably a great year. Financially and figuring it out with the coordinator. All right. And one place you're not going to see a lot of mock drafts, I'll tell you that, is with Big Johnny Mac. Big Sills has got one more coming, and I hope that I have 5 more coming in honor of Johnny and Johnny Mac. I'm gonna do 3 more in honor of John McMullen. John, I'm gonna do it to you, man. I'm gonna add 5 more mocks. We're gonna mock it, like he said. We're gonna mock it. Without further ado, by the way, don't forget Howard Eskin's gonna join us. That'll be at 4:30. Without further ado, the man, the myth, the man who puts $100 in his Corvette every other day. My man, Big Z, Zander Krause. How you doing, brother? Let's go.
Holy moly, Sills. You're taking it to the great people of JAKIB Nation today.
No, I'm just pointing out reality.
Fear not, everybody.
Yeah. Okay,
I am here, and I will. I will
say that was wrong.
Sileo straight today.
Really? What did I say that was wrong?
What do you mean? You're all over the place.
All over the place? What's your plan at Edge?
It's March 24th.
Okay. What's your plan at Edge? You got 30 days to the draft.
Well, I tell you what. Where I think you're right is that it's not good enough right now, but you got plenty of time to do it. Okay. And I think what Bob Brown said is honestly right. They're paying everybody on offense. They're paying Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. They're not. It's probably going to be cheap at Edge until something shifts on offense.
Okay, so you're going to be in the same position until the trading deadline, in your opinion?
Potentially. I mean, they could make a move for Grenard.
Okay, so they make a move for Grenard. And let me go back to, and that's what you're going to say. So since 2023, okay, the miss at 30 with Nolan had made you go and get Bryce Huff at 17.5. You sign Ojulari and Uche for 7.5. That's $25 million. You ended up going into the 2025 season at Edge with Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt. It didn't pan out. You went and got a trade. You put a 3 up for Jalen Phillips. Then you're now saying this. You let Phillips walk for $2.5 million, and the plan is now to go and trade for Grenard, which would be probably a 3 and a 5, and you'll have to pay him 30. That's the plan?
Well, the plan is, first off, is Nolan Smith a bust, or is he just not a great player?
I don't think it's a bust.
He's a rotational guy. He never panned out to be a bona fide starter, but I don't think he's a bust. I mean,
if you, Zander, hang on here though. If you go and get Grenard and you got Phillips, he didn't pan out.
Well, you could make an argument that if he did pan out more, then they wouldn't be in this position in the first place. But look, this is what I struggle with here. General managers across all of sports, they're not going to hit all the time. Like it's about everything collectively as it comes together. Has Howie struggled at Edge? Yeah. And based on what you're saying, it's pretty hard to debate. I mean, they've had a rotational door there. Uche, Ojulari, Jalen Phillip, all these guys. I understand what you're saying, but collectively, Howie's been able to make up for it with the rest of the roster. Now, where I think he's getting into scary territory for Howie is he can't keep doing this on defense if the offense isn't going to play better. If you're going to pay the offense and they're the reason you win games, that's fine. But if they're going to be 25th, 26th, 27th ranked, then you're going to have to change your approach. And that's where I think they are. I think Howie's done a pretty good job, all things considered. Do I think he's been perfect? Absolutely not. But I'm not that worried about it. I mean, it's the 24th of March.
But there's very limited places. There's very limited places you can shop right now. You're making it sound like you can go.
Yeah, I mean, it's limited now, right? It's trade or draft, basically.
Right. So trade or draft or trading deadline.
Yeah, which I think could be realistic. I mean, you have Jalix Hunt, who I feel pretty good about. You have Nolan Smith, who I think is a certified rotational piece. I don't think he's going to be a headliner.
Again, I don't hate the kid either.
Here's the other thing. Like, does the D-line concern you that much?
Yeah.
It does, even with the guys in the middle, because I think what Bob Brown put in the chat earlier is exactly what's the reality. I mean, they're paying. They decide to pay Jordan Davis and probably Jalen Carter. That's going to be $60 million, maybe more, maybe $65 million.
Do you think that the bringing in of Jalen Phillips solidified and calmed down Ordori Jackson in the secondary?
Yeah, for sure. That's very. I mean, you can tell clearly.
Okay. So if you're not stable at the edge, do you think that also affects the investments that you made at $26 million in the current one that you may be doing at $40 million if you don't have good perimeter play people? It's also going to affect your secondary on who you want to pay back there with Q and with Cooper DeJean. If those guys are getting roasted because you don't have any pressure and you can't set the edge, true. Doesn't that affect the other players that are on the unit?
Well, it does for sure. But let me ask you this. Is there another way to look at this where Howie didn't the number went too high for Phillips? I think we can all agree that. Where I agree with you is you still got to replace him. The number went too high for Phillips. the edge market wasn't really there this year. There wasn't a lot of edges available. That's why Phillips got third.
It was a weak free agent market.
Right. So instead of just saying, all right, we lost Phillips, let's go get an edge rusher, to me, what I think Howie did was, let's bring in Tariq Woolen on a 1-year, $12 million deal, which is more than I think most of us thought they would be willing to spend at another cornerback after after Quinyon and Cooper. Do you bolster your secondary to try and make up a little bit for the deficiencies at edge? That could be what they're doing too, and I think that could be a part of it. So maybe they did that. And, it's hard for me to get all worked up on
it. But Zander, here's what you do now is obvious. Do you not agree? When you say March 24th, it's only March 24th. Well, the things that you did in the offseason, did it not affect what happened in the fall?
Well, of course it did.
Okay. Well, it's not just March 24th then. It's what's the plan and where are you going? Because the unit you build now, bro, this is what you're going to go and play games in September with. I mean, this is one of the things.
You're not wrong about that, but collectively, is the unit good enough? Your edge might have gotten a little bit worse, but your corner might have gotten a little bit better. And the other thing I'll ask you is this. If the Eagles did pay an edge, let's say they paid Jalen Phillips $30 million, which, by the way, I think we would all, including everybody in the chat, including you and me, would be probably giving him a hard time for that type of contract for that player. But if, let's just say they did pay that guy, does that change what the Eagles would be able to do coming down the pipeline with Quinyon and Cooper, who are probably both going to make, let's be real, $30 million?
Okay. It's a great question. My retort back to you is this. I would sign Jalen Phillips to the $30 million if my next plan is to go get Grenard at 29 and pay him 30. Then it is a problem for me on what he did. Because then you do pony up the additional 2.5, and I don't have to give the 3 and the 5 and lose the 3 that I gave Miami away to be in the same spot for $2.5 million more.
Yeah.
You see where I'm at here? Listen, I agree. Dude, completely overpaid. He's $30 million. But the alternative is this. Well, we're going to go get Jonathan Grenard from Minnesota for a 3 and a 5, and then we're going to up it to 30. Bro, why don't you sign Chubb? Chubb's a better ball player. Could have got him for 12.
Yeah, they seem to be afraid of the older guys. They don't go near those guys much anymore. Maybe they're
the same age as Grenard.
Maybe they'll be right. What's his name? Zadarius Smith rolled out after a couple games last year, which was weird. But yeah, I mean that's another name you left out at edge that they had to get. Yeah, I mean, look, the edge hasn't been great, but they've been able to prevail without great edge rushers. I mean, let's be real here. You can sit back and say that not paying Josh Sweat was a mistake, and I would agree with that analysis. But at the end of the day, Josh Sweat wasn't that great that year. I mean, he was a good player. He was not like wow, we got a guy. He wasn't.
Okay. Do you not agree that guy was the best football player on the field in the Super Bowl?
Well, in that game, 100%. But you could also say that about who else?
Milton?
And Nolan. Nolan had 6
Nolan was great in that game. Nolan was great.
Nolan had 6 sacks in those, or 5 sacks in the plus, whatever it was. Now, does that mean Nolan Smith? You know what I mean?
No. You know why? But Nolan was on a unit that was good across every level.
Well, so was
Jacker. You were not as good in any of those positions because yesterday we talked about downgrading. From that 2014, 13 months and 2 weeks ago, bro, they have downgraded. They've downgraded the defense.
Well, I think they have a lot of eggs in the Vic Fangio basket. They have a ton of belief. I mean, look, we can complain about this, but I will say this, me included, I had the same gripes last summer. We thought they blew up the defense, and it was a big mistake, and it did get a little bit worse, but I think everybody who watched the Philadelphia Eagles last year would not say that the defense was the number one problem. Now, I'm not going to say you can do that every year and just expect the defense to work out, but I'm in wait-and-see mode on the defense. And my bigger concern still lies on the offensive side of the ball, still lies with the offensive line, still lies with the passing offense, still lies with what Sean Mannion's going to be, training wheels head coach, by the way, who's trying to teach Jalen Hurts and this offense a system that a coordinator with much more experience and success was unable to do. and Kellen Moore. That, to me, is a bigger concern about the 2026 Eagles than, replacing Jalen Phillips.
Again, I think all of this goes into the plan then. Okay. I heard you guys talking about, and I heard John say that Sadiq is out. All right. Well, then you tell me how they're going to change this offense. What's the plan on that?
It's just the schematics. That's it. I mean, it's a new coach. It's a new scheme, which is what we've been told. Who knows what it's actually going to be? And that's it, dude. I mean, you're right. What else is there? There's no new players. There's no new offensive linemen. There's nothing.
There's no skilled guys that are new.
Other than Hollywood Brown not moving the needle for you, Sills?
No, I'm just saying, okay. So if you're not, so you're going to ask the quarterback and the players you have that, by the way, you had 3 out of 5 years, right, Zan? Or 3 out of 4 years, right? You had wide receivers with 2 1,000-yard seasons on your ball team, right?
Is that what they had?
Yeah.
Boy, this dude A.J. Brown's got to quit bitching. But, yeah, go ahead.
3 of the 4 years, you had 2 1,000-yard receivers. And what are you changing it to? I'm curious. I don't know if there's a team in the league that's had that.
Well, you know who I like in the draft? It's not Sadiq. I like Sadiq, but I think I like the Vanderbilt kid, Eli Stowers, whatever you say his name.
He was pretty good. He was pretty good in that Bama game.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a great pass catcher in the league. Now, I get it; they might not want strictly a pass catcher, but you're talking tight end, modern tight ends, guys. I mean, you don't get guys that bulldoze people in the blocking game anywhere. That's why they got Johnny Munt, baby.
Well, let me ask you something about that. Wouldn't you consider Travis Kelce more of a pass catching tight end? You wouldn't consider him a blocking tight end, would you?
Yeah, he's a pass catcher. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so a pass catching tight end, you probably need both because of the quarterback that's in Philly. You need to have a runner and a blocking tight end because you're trying to establish the run game.
Well, I think what they're actually looking for, Sills, is kind of like if you look at the Rams tight ends last year, they ran a lot of 3 tight ends.
By the way, are you shocked that Kelce got 3 years, $54 million?
Yeah, but I thought it was a 1-year deal.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw.
Well, no, because you're right. It came out yesterday that he signed a 3-year deal, but when it was originally reported, it was Travis Kelce's coming back for a 1-year deal.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's like an old contract that they
I don't know,
reworked or something, and it's void. Yeah, it's void years or something like that.
Okay. I thought I read or heard that he was a 3-year, $54 million.
Yeah.
Contract. So it's funny money. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see.
All right. Would it be okay?
They had last year though. They had Colby Parkinson, the Rams. They had Terrence Ferguson and Tyler Higbee. Kind of like 3 hybrid-y type of guys.
Yeah, but the guy you're not talking about is the guy throwing it. I mean, that guy's going to make those dudes look great,
No, but my point is less about that and more about that they could do the other things too. They were not stiffs in the blocking. You can't put 3 tight ends on the field, dude, if they can't block. So it's a little bit different, but we'll see.
All right. So let me ask you a fundamental question about our boy, A.J. Brown.
No,
would it be a bad idea to have A.J. Brown on the 2016?
Yeah, you could probably make an argument both ways. You're not going to get better in terms of football talent, but, what's that saying? One bad apple spoils the whole bunch.
Okay, let me go here with the Jimmy Johnson rule with you. Is his production now worth bullshit?
Yeah, right. Last 2 years? Hell no.
Okay.
3 drops in the playoff game.
First 2 years, his bullshit, I'm going to eat it.
Yeah, right.
Eat it.
1,500.
$3,000. 2 years, last 2 years, $2,000. Is his bullshit worth the production?
I think it's getting close to being no, but I think there's something most are missing here in this whole A.J. Brown discussion, and it's not local. This is nationwide. Everybody who's talking about this, everybody's simply talking about whether A.J. is going to be back or whether A.J. is going to be not back. But nobody is factoring in the fact that A.J. Brown, by all variables that are there for us to take in, he's getting worse. So if the Eagles can get a 1, it might make the most sense. And I'm not even talking about the bullshit. I'm not talking about what Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter are talking about. I'm talking about the Philadelphia Eagles have a chance to get a 1 back for a guy they traded a 1 for. And the guy is descending. His drop rate is up. His yards are way down. He's getting way less separation in the last couple of years. He's really checked out on the football team. He's undermining the quarterback.
It sounds like you're selling yourself that he's not the player he was.
Well, you tell me. Do you think he's as good as he was 2 years ago?
I think the offense is not what it was 2 years ago.
So you think A.J. Brown's the same player?
Don't
ride the fence here, Humpty Dumpty.
All right, I'll give you 2 things. I'll give you 2 things on what I think has happened here. I think everything in that scouting report that guy said about that guy's character, about how things don't go his way, he's a fucking bitch. And he's moaner and he cries and he fucking doesn't like his bat and ball. So he takes his bat and ball and he goes. And yes, he's getting older. Hamstrings are starting to become a factor. He's becoming less part of the offense.
Degenerative knees.
Okay. I mean, but I do think he goes to New England. If he goes up there, I think he has a 1,500-yard year up there. I don't think he's that far off the room where you think.
How many more years? You know, he's got
1, 2.
Yeah. So
well,
dude, I don't think the Eagles would be I don't think it's a bad thing.
No, I've never thought them move, because right now, if you move on him next year, bro, at most you're going to get a 3 and a 5 next year.
I agree. And that might be rich.
Right.
You'll get a 3. You'll get a 3.
Yeah, right. Right now, if you want a 1 and you want to this is what made the Patriots so great. They wouldn't be afraid to pull the trigger. They would move the kid for the 1.
Yeah, and look, I fully admit
you said it yesterday. That's Brady.
I fully admit I've changed on this, but like I think the real grim, if you want to be like an Eagle fan, like some Eagle fans are grim, you know, it's never good. And I get it. I by the way, I was down at I don't want to rip on anybody today, but it's National Cheesesteak Day. My boy Wayne, I don't know if Wayne's in the chat. He reminded me of this. I'm like, fuck, I'm going to go get a cheesesteak today. So I went and got a cheesesteak. I don't know, man. The Skinny Joey steak didn't taste like it did the first couple times I had it when they were brand new shop. You get all the hype. Everybody gets it the first time. I don't know. It might be a different steak nowadays. But anyway, I digress.
Holy shit. You got a Philly guy? A Philly guy like biting into a Kobe steak when he bites into a cheesesteak.
It just wasn't that great. You know, sometimes like it wasn't that good. When I get a cheesesteak, I want it to be worth the time I get to get it, the how bad it is for you. It's got the trade-off's got to be there. It wasn't there today, but that's all right. That's all right. I'll give him a pass on National Cheesesteak Day. Maybe they were making too many of them, but I forget what I was saying because I had a ramble about a fucking cheesesteak. Classic me.
All I know of this is today it's National AJ Brown Day here on the show, so that's what we got fucking rolling here. I love it,
dude. You're off your keister today. You're sounding off on the great people. I mean, Jason A-Team's dropping $10. You're not even reading.
I'm pointing out what you've done. I've given barely any opinions, and people don't like what you've done, or us pointing it out. I want to know what your fucking plan is. You're in a revolving toilet right now with the same fucking plan. It's the turd at the top of the toilet that you can't flush. And you're just in the same boat here with this dude. And if you're going to invest, Zander, that kind of money on defense, okay, if you don't have good front seven, it hurts Carter's ability in production. It hurts Davis's ability.
Boy, you're really hung up on this defense, aren't you?
Well, if you're going to shift the money, do you think they're going to shift the money in the next 2 years from one side of the ball to the other? Or do you think they're going to try to become more balanced?
You reminded me of what I was going to say. Thank you. Even the most pessimistic Eagle fans, who we all know there's a ton of them out there, or the most optimistic would admit that the Eagles' offense is probably pretty close to needing a retool. You have a 29-year-old running back, you have a 29-year-old wide receiver, you have a 35-year-old right tackle, you have your center and your left guard were in Medellin, Colombia, getting stem cell treatments. Jordan Mailata is almost 30 years old. You're probably Dallas Goedert's probably got 1 year left. Jalen Hurts is 6 years into a dual threat running a quarterback career. You're probably closer there than most would like to admit about needing to retool an offense. So with all that being said, is it smart business to move on from A.J. Brown? Get a first-round draft pick?
Yeah.
Might be, dude. Might be. Even without not even factoring in the bullshit and the headaches.
How about this? You look back on this move here today. Or June 1, you look back on this. If you trade A.J. Brown, let's just say the last 2 years. Last year wasn't what they wanted. Let's say this year you win and you go into the second round. You go into the divisional game and you get bounced. But your offense got better. Your football team got better. And in year 3, you win a Super Bowl. Would you take the wobbling and how Howie was maneuvering around the roster for 2 mediocre years versus winning another Super Bowl, your third
but
inside of 4 years?
They're not that group right now, those Sills. I mean, remember, what type of player is Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, Saquon? In 3 years, you might be closer to a full different looking team.
Oh, an offense for sure.
Yeah. I mean, even team. Like, you might be like talking about like a whole new offense potentially. Now, I don't know if it's gonna be that, but we've pulled the numbers before. We've pulled every starting quarterback in the history of Philadelphia. This is not just like a Jalen Hurts thing. I mean, he's going into what, year 7?
Yeah.
Year 6 starting?
Yeah.
Year 6 starting. I mean, another 3 years, he's already above the average time of a starting quarterback spent in Philadelphia. I think the average is 5.5 years or 5 years. Donovan McNabb's like the only one who was above it.
Yeah.
And there's a couple other ones. I think Jaws maybe was like 8. I forget. But like there's not many. So Jalen's getting to that point. I mean, I don't know if they had that type of luxury. Like you talked about when they had those 2 mediocre years. That's when Jalen Hurts was on this rookie contract. You know what I mean? Like everybody was young and fresh and new. It was a way different looking thing.
Do you think Nick Sirianni's the head football coach in 3 years?
No, if I had to guess, no.
You think Jalen Hurts is starting quarterback for the Eagles in 3 years?
If I had to guess, probably not. No. Could be, though. I mean, look, if he has a great year, then hell yeah. If he has a great year this year, he will be because they'll extend his contract. And then it's 2 more years on top of that, which is a no-brainer. So really, the crux point for Jalen is this year, I think.
So you're going to make all these changes with the current staff and the current quarterback for the next group.
I don't know how they're thinking about it. It's impossible to tell.
I know. I really don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not ripping you for the question. I don't know. I don't know
either. I don't.
Man, I have no clue how they think about that. You got to think they think about it, but
of course, didn't Howie say either this past combines or the year before? He goes, "I'm thinking 3 years ahead." So if I'm thinking about it now, he's already thought about it 2 years ago.
Well, and think about this too. I mean, do you believe after the turmoil and the chaos and the turnover of the Carson Wentz, Doug Peterson era, do you believe that the front office and the owner are more empowered today or less empowered today?
More empowered.
So take history into account here.
Yeah.
They moved on from the last quarterback and the last head coach and rebuilt it.
Yep, they feel more
They probably feel more empowered to do that this time.
I would too.
And I'm not criticizing them for it. I'm just saying when you talk about, the turnover, I'm sure they're thinking about it, but they also probably feel like they're pieces on the chessboard and they can move them out if they need to, both of them.
I completely agree. So let me ask this question. I kind of broached it yesterday with you, but let me ask this. So what kind of season will Devontae Smith have with no A.J. Brown, with the new OC? What would be a season that you would think when he is the primary target? Now remember something though. A.J. Brown is, we call him a primary target, but there's games where I've seen him with 2 targets in.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure who
and the Eagles won those games. Eagles won those games, by the way.
Okay. I mean, what does a non-AJ Brown Devontae season look like to you?
I have optimism. It would be great, but you have to factor in everything. I mean, that means no A.J. Brown means what? It means more cornerback, more coverage, more defenses game
Number
plan.
one corner.
Number one corner, more defensive game plan to take you out, probably more double teams, probably tighter windows for you to get the football. All these different things, probably less ability to move you around all over the place, especially without a true number X, X receiver, So I think Devontae's here's the thing about Devontae that struggles and tell me if you agree with this. There's the talent of a player, and then there's the production and the output of a player. Does that make sense? Like certain players who get drafted are insanely talented, but they might not ever translate that talent into production on the field.
First year Jordan Davis has ever done this.
Right. Devontae Smith, I think, is more than talented enough to be a number one wide receiver. I truly believe that. I think he's got the route running, the hands, the speed, the strength, the ability, everything you need. The question is that talent that he has going to translate to the type of output the Eagles will need if he's the number one wideout? I have confidence he can do it, but it's confidence. That's it. It's hope. We've never seen it yet. And in fact, I think the Devontae numbers when AJ's missed, I think he's missed 7 games in the last 4 years. The Devontae numbers aren't that hot in those games. It's like 60-yard average. He had a little bit of a higher drop rate, and the double team rate was way up. So all these things have to be factored in. I think Devontae is capable and talented to do it, in this offense with Jalen Hurts as his quarterback, who's not really known for on-time throwing and throwing guys open and things like that. Is it the best offense for him to accentuate those talents? Probably not. So I'm in kind of wait-and-see mode there.
Let me give you a lesson on what number one wide receivers have had done to them in the last 2 years here. Okay, so what would a season look like without A.J. Brown if Devontae Smith was cast in that role of being the number one wideout in Philly? Okay, well, look what they did in Seattle. What was the number one thing they did when they moved off of DK Metcalf? They made sure they had an experienced dude in Cooper Kupp on the other side of him. What did they do to make Puka Nacua a number one wide receiver? They made sure they got Devontae Adams on the other side of that guy to accelerate the youth and the development. You can't have Hollywood fucking Jackson or Brown. And you can't have Darius Cooper on the other side of this kid.
Actually, a very interesting point, because Cooper Kupp was not a very productive receiver last year.
You still had to respect it.
Exactly.
And he was pretty good in the Super Bowl too. Bro.
Now, who do you think? Well, that's a fair point. I mean, by the way, just to put it right back on you, the question, you think A.J. Brown's the same receiver if his number 2 wasn't Devontae?
Oh, no. I mean, A.J. Brown in Tennessee.
So my point in saying that is I think
go look at those fucking numbers with him in Tennessee.
Yeah. But my point in saying that is I think the Eagles would be doing Devontae Smith a disservice if they think they can just slot Marcus Brown in there and expect him to be A.J. Brown. I mean, A.J. Brown had Devontae Smith as his number 2. That helps too, So I don't know. It's an interesting point.
See, when I have the odds for, look what happened too. Devontae Adams led the NFL in touchdown catches.
I love Devontae Adams. He's one of my favorite receivers.
And my point is that if Hollywood Brown, if that's the guy that they think is going to take some of the heat off, when you go from that for those two dudes, look, Hollywood Brown in the 3 role with somebody else in there. Now we're talking about helping out the core.
But like you said about edge, the time is dwindling here. What options do you see available for the Eagles? Like, I think a round 2 or 3 wide receiver makes sense. But does that do what you just said? Hell no.
Okay. Well, you got to remember what you're trying to do this offseason, though. You're installing some things that you want to try in this new offense. Do you agree that this is the first sign that they're asking more of Jalen Hurts as a passer?
If they move off AJ?
Yeah. And with the new offensive hires.
Well, I think they're asking that period end of sentence because, like you've talked about, if you don't elevate on that side of the football, it's not going to work. You can't just get by with the 25th ranked offense every year. It's not going to work in the long term. Eventually, that side of the football is going to have to carry its weight. So I think that's built in. And then I think you're right about, maybe they're asking more of him. But look, he's going to have to rise up to the occasion. You're the quarterback of the football team. I mean, you don't get a free pass. You got to go out there and deliver the goods. How many times do you see people in this chat right here, Sills, whenever Josh Allen has one bad game or one bad pick or one bad move, they come in here, oh, Sills, look at your boy Josh Allen. Is it all Josh Allen's fault? Probably not, but he's the quarterback. Same thing with Jalen Hurts. These guys get more accountability. They have more responsibility. They are more, they have to bear the burden more than most do. And I think that's fair to say about Jalen Hurts. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he answers the call, but I agree. It's the most they've asked of him since they've made him the starter.
Why are you so sold on Tariq Woolen?
I don't think I'm sold on him. I just think he's an upgrade from Adoree Jackson, and I'm sold on Quinyon and Cooper, who I think are really good freaking players. So you put Tariq Woolen there, who has great corners around him. He's obviously not going to have the burden of the toughest receiver out there every single week. You're going to get help probably from Cooper DeJean in the slot. I think they're in a pretty good spot. And I think the other thing I like about Woolen Sills is he can fucking run, dude. He can run, So I think that's a good thing.
Don't you agree? One of the reasons why I'm talking about edge is that you've invested a 1 and a 3. Third-round draft pick with Hunt and a first-round draft pick with Nolan. And you're still looking for an edge. A 1 and a 3. I mean, we're not talking about a 7th-round Moro Jomo here. We're talking about a 1 and a 3. And you missed on a 3 by trading Sidney away and gave another 3 away when you did the Phillips deal. I'm just saying here, dude. I mean,
yeah, I got you.
You what now? How again building this? Is it more important to start retooling the offense in this draft or building up the defense? Because if you build the defense, the coach on that side of the ball is Vic Fangio. He could. Do we not agree? He's done more with less.
Oh, for sure. That's not even debatable.
Okay. What is the priority?
The question then on the offense would be like, John always uses that phrase, the hardest thing for a team to do is be honest with themselves. The Eagles are going to have to answer the question. Are you in the mode where you need to get the offense better, or are you closer to the retool mode? Because if you're in the retool mode, that's a different approach than if you're just saying, all right, let's get the offense better. Because remember, they did that in 23. They got the offense better. They signed Saquon Barkley. That's a move to make your offense better, building on what you are. There's not a lot of areas that do that anymore on this team. I mean, what are they going to do? Sign what? Does anybody have anything they can sign? They got it. They got the running back. They got the 2 wide receivers right now. They got the quarterback. They got the offensive lineman. There's nowhere even to add. So you're looking at basically on offense, you're hoping the offensive line plays better. That's the number one thing for me this offseason. It's the number one thing. I mean, if your offensive line is not going to be better than last year, we're probably not going to be that good of a team, guys. It's just a reality. It's just a reality. We're going to be a regular team. And I think
I don't believe you're going to get. By the way, I think you're going to get healthier, but I don't think you're going to get better.
Well, I think the fun part about where we are right now, too, for Birds fans is, we're back in the pack, which isn't. It doesn't mean you're bad.
Not totally back in Wayne. Like you're not back there.
No. But I mean, for a couple of years,
Minnesota.
For a couple of years there, Sills, it was pretty undisputed by most analysts, local and national, like that the best roster in football was the Philadelphia Eagles. Now you still have to play, but you still have to play to it and everything. But now I think we're in the pack. Now a pack team wins every year. I thought the Seahawks were in the pack last year. They played great. They won the games when it mattered. They stepped up when they needed to, and they got the job done. I think the Eagles are in the pack now. I don't think they're way above, but I think if they do the right things, if they play well, most importantly, if the offensive line plays well, if Jalen Hurts plays well, if Devontae Smith plays well, I think they're going to be at the top of the pack. But they are in the pack right now, and they got to play well to be able to rise above it.
If you remember what I did when I first, I think it was in the 21, or it was 2022, and it was after that draft. If you remember right, I was one of the first people to go like this Super Bowl team. I mean, he was so on his fucking. I mean, dude, Howie Roseman's best years in free agency have been 22 to 24.
Yeah, I mean, Saquon. Well, he had some misses in there too. Remember Bryce Huff?
Yeah, but the amount of slam dunk wins overcame those Bryce Huffs and all that other bullshit. When you get Becton, Bond, and Barkley, and you make a deal for Phillips, you get this, you find Gardner Johnson, you found fucking Bond in a practice squad. I mean, that's fucking iconic. Like, I've never seen an all-pro guy 2 years in a row found on a practice squad. Name me another guy that you ever heard of where you went, hey, you know that guy that was running down kickoff return for 3 years in New Orleans? That guy's your first team all-pro linebacker.
That's amazing. It really is.
It's one of his greatest
free agent let's also be truthful about that. It's a great signing. Was that more luck for Howie than it was anything? I mean, come on, dude. You think Howie signed Zach Bond for a couple mil and was like, he's an all-pro backer? I think Vic was like, oh, this guy can play backer. Let me put him out there. And then he's athletic and smart, and he played the position well.
They signed him for edge. That's right.
Yeah, Vic put him in a good position, and he thrived. I don't know if that was a Howie. I think that was more of a Howie luck. But hey, that's part of it. That's part of the game.
Yeah, but you know why I'm going to give him I'm going to give it to him? Because that year he found Becton. They moved him inside, and then Barkley was supposed to be out of gas. Me and John had egg on our face the whole fucking year. Yeah. I'm on CNN, and I got Jake Tapper taking a shit on it.
That's right. I was fresh off the parade float, man. I was high on my own supply for that period.
And fucking, there's Jake Tapper taking a shit on me, going, everyone's talking shit on Saquon Barkley here. What kind of gear you think?
Look at Reyes. We don't give Howie Reyes, dude. Howie gets more glazing than anybody I've ever seen in my life, dude. Come on,
I haven't. Yeah. What do you mean? Hey, by the way, I think great GMs have bad moments too. Great coaches have bad moments. I'm not. What do you think? M. Reyes has. M. Reyes.
Yeah, but you talk, boy. You rip him on every bad move, man. You might say you give him the leeway, but you don't really give him the leeway.
Keep swinging, Howie. Keep swinging. It's what do you say? What are you saying here? That I don't think he's a good GM. I do think he's a good GM. I was wrong. He's a good GM. He really is. But I think there's areas of the team he misses on massively, like edge and corner. Outside of Q and Cooper, in his years since 2000, he's really not been.
Not true, bro.
Okay, since 2000.
Darius Slay is one of the best trades Howie's ever made.
I'm talking drafting, dude.
All right, well, that's different. But I mean, when you're talking about addressing the cornerback position, addressing it has been fine.
When you address in free agency, that means this and draft picks. You address, yeah, you're right. You address Slay. You know what you did?
We traded for Slay. I mean, that was a hell of a trade.
Right. You had to give because you missed on corner. So what you had to do is pay and give draft picks to Detroit. I'm just keeping score here. That's all I do.
Shit.
That's all you do here. Like when you miss that edge, you give a 3 to the
all right. Well, let me ask you this then. If we both just agreed that GMs are not going to hit on everything, wouldn't you rather have a GM that shows the ability to make up for the mistakes in a strong, positive way than somebody who sits on their hands and fucking weeps and moans and cries about it and then shitty?
I think it's a skill set that general managers – how long do you wait on a player? I think that's the toughest thing to do, Zander. How long do you wait on a player?
Depends.
How long are you going to wait on Nolan? You know, that's how he's first-round pick.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. Do you expect great bona fide starters at 31 overall?
All I know is this. Come May 1, you got to come up with a $15 million decision on
I'll give him that. I think he's that type of player. Look at what edges are making. He that's half of what Jalen Phillips got. You don't think no one's worth that? I think no one's worth that.
Okay, so you want to pay $15 million to him and not $12 million to Bradley Chubb?
Well, no one's the draft pick. They're not. So it's different. I mean, you handle those guys different.
So you handle draft picks more than you handle trying to find good players. Got it. I see. So you're going to pay $15 million and not the $12 million to a better ball player. But because I drafted Nolan, I'm going to put 15 on that guy.
You're like, dude, you find anything. It's like
now you're gonna, anything. These are things
you're going to hang your hat on that they haven't signed Bradley Chubb. It's like, dude, if you signed Bradley Chubb, you know what you'd be saying? You'd be saying, oh, that's not the good. You got a 30-year-old guy to fix your edge. That's not going to work out.
Well, I'd rather have
him for it.
Hold on. Bradley Chubb's a better ball player than Jonathan Gennard, who you want to trade for. Okay, well, show me anywhere where that guy was a better ball player.
I'm not super in love with the idea of the Gennard trade. You're going to probably have to give up a 2 or 3 third-round pick and also pay him $25 to $30 million. I don't know about that. 29 years old. I don't know. That's not really my favorite move, but so fucking ass. He really fucking is.
I know. Look, I
was eating my cheesesteak, listening to hour number 1. You were freaking destroying people in the chat.
I was not.
You were destroying fools in the chat. Let me go to. By the way, can I read my Jason 18? He's still in here. Can we give my man Jason 18 some justice? Guy sends a $10 super chat. By the way, his take is objectively correct. And you shit on him like he's a turd going around.
Read it again. Go ahead.
Freaking legend member right here. Guy's a great supporter of the channel. He says this. Sills, you're tripping. I literally said stat-wise, Moro Ajomo replaced Milton. Production stat-wise, I said Milton is a better player than Ajomo. You cannot fucking read, dude, for fuck's sake.
Oh, hey, Jason. Actually, my emotions get the best of me.
Jason, don't let this guy take a dump on your chest, okay?
Oh, yeah. Well, the last time I put these people on my show, these guys were cowardly lions.
They were. So, guys, I told you when that happened. That was the greatest mistake this chat has ever made. Sileo opens the show up for you guys to come in here and shred them. And everybody's like, oh, I love your show. Our boy HKP, come on. You called him AJ Brown. The guy went into a tailspin. I mean, the only guy who gave you something was M. Reyes.
And he's the worst. We may have to do that again. And we may have to pick.
I think Rasputin's new. There's a couple new people here. I wish you guys saw that. That was great, man.
We may have to open up the we may have to
RMP, do that. I think you were on the show. I'm pretty sure RMP was on the show. He's acting like it didn't happen. RMP, you didn't do shit, RMP.
Zander was dogging all of you.
You went into a cocoon. Everybody but Reyes. I don't want to hear anybody in here but M. Reyes. None of you.
Jalen Hurts is here. $4,000?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that's the kind of player he is, But I think the biggest question on him this year, Sills, is what is he dual threat? Is he going to run the football? Is he going to give the team the advantage you need to give him with the legs? That's my number one question on him. But I want to see him be more efficient. I want to see him try and get the ball out a little bit more on time so that the receivers can make plays. And last year, his lows were pretty low. He had some really bad lows. I mean, he had there was halves of football guys where we had, you guys remember, he
was terrible in the Charger game.
10 yards, the Chargers game. I mean, the one half of football, he had one completion or something. And I'm like, look, I'm not saying you got to be perfect.
Game he had none in the fourth quarter.
I'm not saying you got to be perfect all 17 here, but you're the quarterback of the football team. This team goes as far as you're going to take them, Jalen. So I'd like the lows to be a little higher than they were last year. And I'm curious to see what he does with the legs. I mean, are the legs gone? Are they back? Or was it a one thing? Is it the team telling him not to run? Is it Jalen that doesn't want to run? I don't know. Is it the agent? Might be the agent telling him not to run so he can make $4 million playing flag football in the summer. If
that guy doesn't work.
And he can release kids' books, So I get it. It's a business. So we'll see. Don't you agree, though, dude? The lows can't be that low. I mean, no completions and a half, 5 turnovers. Those are the things you got to eliminate. But overall, I think Hurts is fine.
What do you make of this here with Mikey?
Mikey says there's a Bleacher Report rumor saying Eagles potential trade for safety Jesse Bates from the Falcons. Thoughts? I don't hate it. I'm not as concerned at safety as some are. I mean, I'm not like confident in it, but again, we got 3 great secondary players in Cooper, Quignon. Woolen isn't great. I shouldn't say that, but he's a solid player. Makuba showed some promise in his first 13 games or however many games he played last year. Let's hope he develops and gets better this year. And, we got to see. But I'm not. Marcus Epps is a solid guy. So I think that's your floor, because if you get the Marcus Epps, it probably means nobody else panned out. But I'll take that as a floor at that position.
13 mil.
For who? Jesse Bates?
Jesse Bates, that's his salary right now.
How's he been recently, though? Is he still playing his best football, or
is he in Atlanta right now? Is that where he is?
I like the player.
I thought he went from Cincinnati to Atlanta in a big deal.
I see what you're talking about. There's a locked on foul. Swap. Is Jesse Bates' future in doubt? Oh my gosh, this is hilarious. See, look, this is how much. This is the funniest headline I've ever read in my life. See, this is what's so funny about most people don't pay attention to the rest of the league. Sileo, you guys are lucky. Sileo has a great grasp on the entire football league. I try to as well, but I'm not perfect.
Oh, I think you've done great.
Here's an Atlanta Falcons content creator. You ready for the title of this video? Swap. Atlanta Falcons trade for Eagles safety Sidney Brown. Does this mean Jesse Bates' future is now in doubt? I might comment on this video. Yo, my guy. Sidney Brown is not going to be your starting safety, okay? Don't take that to the bank.
What do you think was the biggest mistake that so far of all the players that have left here? Reed, Phillips, or Nakobe?
Biggest loss?
Biggest impact loss, do you think?
Impact on field only or impact as a whole?
Fill in the blank.
All right. I personally think it's Nakobe Dean, but I also acknowledge they have the best contingency for Nakobe Dean, obviously, with Jahad Campbell. But I think the biggest impact loss of those 3 guys is Nakobe Dean. He was the guy who did the communication. He was the guy who I think helped Jordan Davis have a great year in front of him. Those are guys who've been playing together since Georgia. I think he's a great leader. I think he did everything right for the football team. I think Vic Fangio loved him. I think he was a great communicator. And more importantly, I think he was a great football player when he was on the field. I really do. I thought he was a great player. And I think that's the biggest loss. Obvious next one would be Reed to me. It's not even Phillips. I mean, Phillips was here for a cup of coffee, dude. He was here for 10 games, 9 games, 8 games. Now, is edge a more important position? Obviously. I'm not breaking any news here, folks. But Reed was your guy who communicated in the secondary for really the last couple of years. You guys remember when something happened a few years ago where Darius Slay went on a podcast and said, when I'm not out there, the leader of the secondary is Reed Blankenship. CJ Gardner-Johnson had a big problem with this, took up a big stink with it. But Slay was right. The guy who does the communicating on that secondary was Reed Blankenship. Now you have Quignon, Cooper, Woolen, Makuba, and presumably Michael Carter or Marcus Epps. Which one of those guys is going to take on the role of being the executive communicator, the CEO of the secondary? Who? I don't know. So that's probably Coop.
Probably Cooper.
I think probably Coop. Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a question here on 2 coaches. By the way, Howard Eskin's going to join us in a couple minutes. Who do you think will be a bigger impact of a loss on Jalen Hurts in his career? Shane Steichen or Jeff Stoutland?
Bigger loss?
I'm talking now about the development of the player.
For who? For
Jalen.
Well,
because ever since Steichen left, Jalen's been stunted.
It's Shane.
But now if you don't have a great O-line coach, you're not doing dick.
Well, I think Shane is the bigger one on Jalen. If it's specifically about Jalen, then I think it's Shane. Right? I mean, Shane was great with Jalen Hurts.
Boy, I'll tell you what, dude. I think Jeff Stoutland and that offensive line. You tell me, if you have a mediocre offensive line in the Jalen Hurts era, you're not winning. program that you are.
Well, I mean, you can almost make that comment about most teams.
Most teams don't have Jeff Stoutland.
Well, I agree, but the point about how it
you don't have all first round draft choices on that line, bro.
I know, but I'm saying the point about how it relates to Hurts. I mean, you know,
well, if you don't have an O-line, you can't develop your quarterback.
well,
you can't have a $50 million quarterback in a $2 offensive.
I agree with Julian. It's Stout for the team and Shane for Jalen. That's what I agree. You calling him Mr. Jordan? That's hilarious. So, Julian, let me ask you, man. If you were a starting quarterback in the Philadelphia Eagles and Michael Jordan and the Jordan brand gave you a call and wanted to put you in all Jordan merch and photo, would you do it? I don't get why people give Jalen such shit for this. What do you want him to do? Yeah, let me say no to the Jordan brand. You guys are a bunch of hypocrites.
Jordan and
Sileo, if Jordan called to sponsor your program, would you say yes?
No, I got Morgan & Morgan. I'm on.
You can have both.
Well, because I have a hard time seeing Michael Jordan than seeing Jalen. I don't know. To me, it's more like he's like Steve Kerr.
Dude, it's a brand. It's a brand.
Wait a minute. Jalen Hurts is more like. By the way, I want you to know this. My daughter and my wife love Jalen Hurts. They were watching him play in that flag football thing.
There's not a woman in my life that watches football.
Really?
My sisters are like, they hate when football season comes because we watch football all the
time. My wife and my kid give me shit when I get on Jalen. They do. They really love the guy.
Maybe that's why you don't like Jalen Hurts.
No.
Is that what it is, Sileo?
No.
Maybe it is.
See, the reason I have a problem with Howie is because he's a Gator. Hey, by the way, real quick before you leave, you see the shit that Howard Eskin started the last 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Bro, by the way, everyone across the country is talking about like FAN. The Hub took a shot at him.
They're all
in Boston. I mean,
which I think is hilarious. I mean,
he had Angelo on, and of course I gravy trained it. And he goes like this. He had him, and everyone across the board. Get this, and also Gio from WFAN on. By the way, Boomer I think is coming on the program. We're gonna get Boomer on. So he took a shot at Brandon Terry, and Howard started all this bullshit.
I know.
He's like a professional agitator.
I have one comment on this whole thing. Right?
Okay.
The guys who are on X right now, I mean, I keep seeing John Mark. I've seen like 4 videos from John Marks. I'm like, these guys, do they live in delusion land? When Howard and Angelo were running, they act like it's not a dog-eat-dog world. If there was one opportunity for any of those guys to pounce on those type of roles or to get elevated or to get a promotion or to become the morning show guy, they would have all done it. Now they're sitting there asking for loyalty and all this bullshit. I'm like, guys, shut up. Seriously, the grandstanding is so stupid. I mean, the whole videos, everything. I mean, I thought they made themselves look.
They did. They made themselves look petty. I thought it was petty.
John Marks. I mean, that video I watched from John.
By the way,
Marks.
Who's John Marks? I mean, come on, guy. I mean,
he was a WIP guy. He's not on the Fanatic.
I've
never been. I mean, he's been good to us, so I don't want to.
I never heard of the guy.
I just thought it was a bad look, but all right, Sills, good show, bro.
All right, my friend, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Later, dude.
You got it. And I will tell you, man, we all stand on the shoulders of these guys. And I've said it to Angelo. I said it to Mike North. I've said it to Howard numerous times. Well, I've said it to Mike Francesa. I've said it to all those guys. You may not like Francesa. I'm more of a dog guy. So, like, I loved like Chris Russo. I know Chris Russo since Orlando. When he started there, he was a producer. Then he went up to WFAN and became a producer. Russo was a producer of the Francesa show. And then Mark Chernoff and them guys put those two dudes together. And Angelo was even talking about it last week. So without further ado, man, I can't wait to talk. We're going to talk a little Eagles too, by the way. But here he is. Make sure you check out that fabulous podcast. My friend, Howard Eskin, joins us now right here on the program. How you doing, Howard?
Oh, I'm just great. You won't let it die, will you?
I don't
you won't let it die.
No, because old school radio people know a thing called about recycling, and I absolutely love it. And how do you feel about the fact that this thing is just now you got other hosts bitching at everybody? You got others say, I mean, what was the main point that you were trying to make about WIP?
Why did I say something?
Yeah, you think? I mean, the state of WIP, you two guys went in on it.
You know what?
Came off the top rope.
It really was. All this is last week's news, and they can't let it go because they just don't have anything else to talk about. Really, when you break it right down, they're groveling for content. So they make this content. It's just, I can't believe that it's reverberated over what's it, close to 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
It's close to 2 weeks now. I just, I don't understand it. It's a simple observation. And, when people say, well, things aren't the same as they used to be, does that make them better? I'll give the NBA is garbage, and it's not what it used to be. So what are you going to say? This NBA is better. You just got to move with it. No, it's not. It sucks. And there are different things. Football is entertaining. I'll talk about the NFL, but is it as good as it used to be? No, it's not as good. Are the athletes better athletes? But because there's less practice, which is part of the rules, and I get all that. Is that as good as it used to be? No, it doesn't mean that you can't express your opinion and it's not as good. It's just things, you could say they evolve. I guess you could say they evolve.
For the better?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. They evolve. It's just, it's a different time. Obviously, when you listen and hear people have said it. I mean, why did this come up? Because they in the business know it's not as good. The people know it's not as good. And it's what it is. It's not going to change.
Do you think, Howard, that the current lineup at WIP serves the sports fans of Philadelphia, or do you think they serve the sports teams of Philadelphia?
I don't know how. I really don't. I don't think they serve. I'll say it this way: I don't think they serve everybody as well. I know they're in business, and that's all part of it. I mean, we were in business back then too. So, I know that. I don't even know how to answer that. I don't know if I want to answer that question, to be honest with you. I don't know how to.
I think you don't want to answer it because I think unlike Angelo, you're in a tough spot there. And you're in a tough spot. And I think that how you've handled it has been exceptional. But the question to me is, and I was talking to Angelo about this, Howard, guys like you and Angelo, you didn't give a shit about what the team said to you. You talked to the people of Philly. And when you hear that station today, even when you hear FAN, when you hear Sports Talk today, there is no way that these people today that are on the air serve the listener. They do not serve the listener. They serve the corporate guy. And I get it, like you said.
No, I think they serve themselves. I think they serve themselves.
Okay.
The difference is when I had a disagreement, and I'll just talk about the way I dealt with it. When I had a disagreement, whether it was a player, a manager, the ownership, I was always there if they wanted to talk to me. And you can't worry about that because they're not going anywhere. I mean, regardless of what you say about a team, they're not going anywhere. They're still going to be partners because the money works for both of them. And that's really, it works for the radio station when you have good teams that people will turn in the radio station. So it helps the overall audience. I don't know that it helps the shows that much. I mean, you get players on because, they pay them. So, and the coach technically is getting paid when he's on once a week. The football coach, he's getting paid once to be on once a week. That's part of his contract. But I honestly don't know that they really care to serve the team, but they will serve the players that they have on a weekly basis. So, but if a player's straight up and good, they'll understand. I mean, because you just talk to them, you explain it, and if you're wrong, you explain it to them, and you deal with it that way. I mean, that's the way I've always dealt. So I don't know how to answer your question. I don't think they serve the teams. I don't think I don't think they try to serve the teams. I think they try to serve themselves. And it really goes back to the heart of what I said. And this is why it reverberated so much now for a couple of weeks, because not all the hosts are average. I'll use the word average, but they're just sports talk radio just isn't as good. That was my point. I mean, it's just not as good. Whether you believe that they're serving the teams, I don't believe that they're serving the teams. No, I honestly, they just do what they do, but they don't have as much insight as to what's going on and the business. I made the point.
You think they don't work hard enough at their craft?
I don't think they do the things that they need to do to be better. Whether that's working hard enough,
which is,
every once in a while, go down and, and talk to the players. You don't have to talk to them. Most of them have nothing to say. But there are times when you get to know somebody that he'll share information with you so you can kind of scope it out a little bit more. That's not what they do. That's not what they believe they have to do. They just believe they go on the air, ramble on with the bullshit, and just whatever. Sometimes it's good bullshit. Sometimes it's not so good. But it's just the quality of what's on the air is just not as good, whether they want to believe it or not.
Why do you think they're so sensitive on this? When you obviously it's
I can't speak for
it's
them.
you and Angelo, obviously the guys who were the cornerstones, and first you and then Angelo. Angelo even pointed that out. It was first you and then he came.
I started the station. I did the first sports talk show there. I
Right.
started the sports talk on this.
By the way, Tony Bruno was on with us too. And Tony said the same thing about you. He's like, Howard used to come on. I was doing news back in the day, but Howard was the first guy that wanted to take the platform of sports and create it into something. And I didn't realize what I was doing. And I was putting Howard on from a game. I didn't know I was doing news then at the time. I wasn't really doing sports. And you were the guy that did it and then created that whole thing. Is that probably why they're a little sensitive? Is because Howard, again, you can't talk sports talk you can't say the history of sports talk in Philly without bringing your name and then Angelo's name up. You just can't.
Well, I think the company itself tries to forget that. But I don't know really how to deal with it, whether they,
you think David Yargoff was part of that? He's retiring now. Do you think he was part of trying to?
I'm sorry, you're saying he's retiring?
Yeah,
he's retiring.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Oh, he's retiring.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's going to seek other opportunities, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he's going to spend more time with his family. Oh, the kids are all away. The wife works full time. Oh, yeah. Okay. He's retiring. Oh, okay. It's good.
With the writing, I'm just going by what they're writing.
I didn't know that's what he was doing, retiring.
How do you think he did as a guy running that station?
Well, I know one thing. He fired a lot of people. Maybe it wasn't all his doing. Maybe it wasn't all his doing, but he still.
How do you think he ran WIP?
I think WIP kind of ran itself. I really do. I think it kind of ran itself. I mean, the business wise, that obviously the people on the air don't handle. But I think the guys on the air, at times they were very good, and they did what they did. So yeah, I don't want to get into
Did you have a
David.
good
Yeah,
relationship with Mark?
it's here's the bottom line with their senior vice president, whatever the hell his title is.
Yeah, his name is
It's
David
what.
Gardgolf. I just so they know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's what's going on in the business. This is what's going on in the business. They just
You're a fucking legend.
well, it's what's going on in the business. They don't have the money. I mean, he had to fire a lot of people, some justly and some not. But there's the problem with the business. I'll say the business is there's a lack of loyalty in the business. It's just, and they're not the only place. It's happening all over, and it's not over yet. It's not over yet. It's just there's not enough revenue. There's not enough revenue in the business.
When they pushed Wheezy Kramer out, and when they pushed all those people out at Odyssey, and then David Fields got pushed out, and all of that stuff at the end, you knew when that stock, when they bought CBS, and that thing was at $75 a share, and now it's at 10 cents a share, whatever the frig it is, you knew that all those things were not going to be the same, and only stations like IP, the Hub, FAN, all those.
There's some good solid stations, and within the company, there are some still solid stations, but are they as solid as that was my whole point. I'm saying the same thing I said before. That was my whole point. It's just they're not as solid as they used to be, regardless of what they roll out there and they tell you. Why would they be letting all these people go? Odyssey. I don't know about Cumulus. Odyssey fired approximately 500 people in 2025. Call it layoffs, call it fire, whatever you want to call it. 500 people, and that was written by news outlets, close to 500. So why are they doing that? They're doing that because that's just the state of that was one of my points. The state of the business is not the same. It's sad. It's a shame. I feel bad for people. I get it. I understand it. But that's the state of the business. And hey, listen, I wouldn't be surprised if in most cases, when they get rid of people, they don't really replace people because they just put part-time people in there.
Or producers.
But the thing is, I'm sure Odyssey's not done yet. Well, I'm not sure. I suspect Odyssey's not done yet. And there's going to be more people to go. And I would doubt whether they're really going to replace those people because it's about saving money and trying to right the financial ship of a business. Hey, there was a TV station in Philadelphia. The news director was there for 18 years. He walked out the door and nobody even knew he was gone. 18 years, and he walked out the door and he was gone, and they're not even saying anything. It's like television is in television news. So the television stations, the local TV stations, that's why they run so much news. They try to generate more revenue. It's the same news every hour. And who knows when AI is going to take over? I'm telling you, there's stations in America that I know that are experimenting with AI.
With hosts, with AI and host,
Yeah, and television stations doing the same thing.
Yep.
That's my point. The times have changed, so it's all, and they try to put a Band-Aid on it or put some lipstick on it and make it look good. And it's just, I'm going to spend more time with my family, and I'm going to, come on now.
Hey,
anybody, I'm going to tell you this. Anybody that's quoted when they leave somewhere that says they're going to spend more time with their family, and they might have a great family, and I'm not questioning their family. They supported their family by being at that place.
They got fired.
Yeah. Right. I'm going to spend more time with my family.
They got
Come on
they,
now.
they got
Come
they got
on now.
fired. In your opinion,
And you know what? And I hope everybody, has dinner every night of the week together. I mean, it's just, but that's not the
Howard,
way it is.
when did you think WIP was at its height with talent?
That's hard because I was there full time for 25 years. We grew and we got better. We kept on, the level kept on rising, but that probably ended 10 to 15 years ago, where it kept on rising. So in that period from 86, when I did the first show, and it's not just me, because obviously people there had to be good too.
Yeah.
And everybody had to make that station or help that station being successful. But from 86 till like 2010, 2011-ish, I think my last day full time, and I did the first show on FM too, I think was 2011. And they were, I mean, things were really pretty good in that whole period of time. And then it just, for whatever reason, it wasn't the same, whether that they wouldn't pay the host, they wouldn't pay the management, they wouldn't pay people the same kind of money. And money never, and they're not the only company that's like that. Companies all over America are like that, and with the way things are going. So, but I guess I don't know what the height was, but somewhere when it started to grow from 1986 into like the 2010s, there was some really good radio there. There was some really good radio.
Howard, so for me, my first thing with Odyssey was I left the company. I left the Mighty 1090. That's where Wolfman Jack all started back in the day. And I was doing that LA.
Wolfman Jack, boy, there's a guy that goes back.
He did the mornings, and I actually did more in
I never met him, but I obviously knew of him.
Well, that stick was in like over in Mexico. It went all up the coast. So I knew then I had just left, and I got a $400,000 contract from Odyssey to go over across the street. And I said, wow, okay. So it's the highest I had ever made any kind of money in radio. And so I go over there, and sure enough, within a matter of 6 weeks, they go like this: listen, we're going to send you to Boston and EEI. And I was like, okay, that's kind of around my neck of the woods. I'm from Connecticut. And so I had a 3-year contract on the table there, was going to do that. And all of a sudden, all the people started saying, no, we can't pay 400. We can't do this. We can't do that. We're not. And it started like in 2019 when they started just chopping heads, where they just started like,
that part of it's sad. I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy about anything. I'm not happy that I said what I said, and then all of a sudden, who knew it was going to reverberate for. It's still reverberating for a couple of weeks, and you're bringing this shit up too. But it's just, I'm not happy that it's the way it is now. But I'm looking at it as fact.
Anything
I'm allowed to have an opinion.
Anything you regret saying?
I can't think of everything I said, but I made the point that it's not the same. The business is not the same. Radio business is kind of going like this. The television's kind of going like this too. Yeah. And when you break it down, there's not as many people. The audience numbers aren't the same. I don't care what a share is. A share is baloney. Like if I take 40% of 50 cents, that's a big share. But if I take 40%, 40 cents of 100 cents, that's not as big a share. So what's happening in the business, and sports talk radio is obviously a part of it, is the audiences aren't as big. So the share is an irrelevant number.
Smaller.
Yeah, the pie's smaller. So, they can give you all that. And it's a shame. It's a shame. So the revenues can't be as good. That's what
Angelo said. Angelo went like this because some of the hosts fired back at you two and said this, that the station has never sounded better, and they have the best talent that they've ever had there. And hey, John Marks says you guys are just angry old dudes.
I don't want to get mad at John Marks because I like John. He just tried to get into the fray, but I like John.
Okay.
And when he was at the station, I talked to him about some things, trying to help him stay there. And I was hoping he'd stay there, and I was still a part of that station. I was hoping he'd stay there, and he just, for multiple reasons, he decided he wanted to leave.
But here's what Angelo said about you guys. Those guys can say and crow all they want. How's their revenue doing?
Why do you think they're getting rid of so many people? I mean, how's the revenue doing? They've got to find a way to kind of, there's still hundreds of millions of dollars in debt. Even though I think they're out of Chapter 11 bankruptcy, but that's because they were bought.
The company.
Well, that's because 51% of the company was bought, and that's when David Field got fired.
That's right.
And so even the owner of the stage, that's what's amazing. Yeah,
I know.
He was the CEO.
David Field, the owner of the company, lost his job.
Yeah, right.
And I actually like the guy.
Who's that?
David Field. I actually like the guy. I mean,
he's not a bad guy. No, he's not a bad guy. No, he's fine. But it's a fact of life, and it's unfortunate sometimes. Sometimes you just got to roll with it, and you got to try to make the best of what it is. But if the revenues were that good, and they're not as good, and if they deny that, they would be lying. They're not as good. That's why there's so many people being let go. That's why, and there's going to be more. It's not over. They got to find a way to balance it in some way, and I don't know how. I don't know how they can balance it.
Let me ask one last question on this here, and then I want to ask you a couple legal questions here. Let me ask you one more.
One more. No, you're not.
Those guys.
You know what? I don't want to start this all over again. But it is what it is. Hey, listen, when the top guy in the station is going to be gone, because he's going to spend more time with his family. His wife works full time.
They fired David Yardoff. They fired him. Why can't they come out and say that?
Because it's just everybody likes to, well, I don't want to get into why, because I can't read their mind. Everybody tries to make things nice, and it's just.
Howard, did he not have your back at the end of everything?
What's that?
Did he not have your back at the end?
Not a little bit. Not a little bit. No, not a little bit. So obviously, he just there was no loyalty there. It just, hey, listen, they wanted to save money, knock themselves out. What was said about me was 100% false. So knock themselves out, and it just, so you got to suck it up. You got to move on. You just got to make the best of it. I do podcasts to try to have fun. And make a little money, but it's not about the money anymore for me. It's just about having fun. But no, he was not, there was no reason, zero. They did not have any reason that they said they did, but they didn't, to let me go. And it's just, no, did he have my back? No, he stabbed me in the front, not in the back.
Let's end it there. I want to end that on that there, because I love that ending here. All right.
Oh, you do, huh?
I do, because I will be tweeting that out. I love that.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
I won't. If you say no, I won't. It's a no.
Yeah. It's a sarcastic phrase. Whether people want to,
wait.
It's a sarcastic.
I promise you, I won't, because you asked me to, or I would. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe I'll reword it. But hey, anyway. Hey, all right. How would you handle this AJ Brown crap going on? How would you handle
AJ who?
The receiver, number 11 for the
that's another thing. That's another thing I have a problem with, because there's nothing to talk about. And you're guilty of this too. It's AJ Brown 24/7. If anything happens, it won't happen till June 1st. If anything happens, it's not going to happen. So now we got to go through the rest of March, April, and May. And it's A.J. Brown 24/7. Let's beat it to death. As far as A.J. Brown doesn't exist in my world. Great
Why?
receiver, but he does because there's nothing new, and there won't be anything new.
But here, okay,
it won't be anything new.
Okay, well, here's a question then. Well, here's a person like myself that actually does a little bit of work then on it. Okay, would it be a bad idea then to have A.J. Brown on this football team in 26, knowing that a player can't stand the quarterback and can't stand the offense that they're in? Would it be a good thing or a bad thing if he starts the season?
Well, the offense may be better. They got a new offensive coordinator.
The guy hates the player. He hates the quarterback.
I don't know that he hates him. He doesn't like a lot of the results from the offense.
If you had a partner in the room with you and you thought that guy sucked, you'd be on top of that guy like you were Jimmy Snuka coming off the top rope on how he sucked. That's what this guy's doing here. The quarterback.
He's not saying anything anymore. He's making guys like you nibble at his feet. It's like being nibbled to death by ducks is what it's like. You're just nibbling at his feet. He's got the picture of Edelman or the framed jersey of Edelman. He's got the Patriots blanket. Give me a freaking break. Stop it already. He is playing you and everybody else. Playing you. And he loves it. This is great for him.
Oh, my God.
And you know what? If he's on the team, if he's on the Eagles this year, he'll still be good. But, there's a lot of receivers coming out in the draft, so they can start the ball rolling again. And then as a football team looks at it, probably save some money. But A.J. Brown is old news.
Okay, what's this then? What would a season look like without A.J. Brown on the Eagles for Devontae Smith? Do you think that guy's a true number one receiver?
Devontae Smith?
Yep.
100%.
So you think he would look like JSN up in Seattle if they got rid of that guy? You're looking at a 1,500-yard guy a year with Devontae. You think
because they would spread it around and they'd still want to run Barkley. Remember, you still have a running back that you're going to – what they want to do is run the football. And they're going to pass it. You're never going to have although Seattle, I don't know how Seattle did it because their runner – how many yards did he had? What, about 1,400 yards?
No, he only had 1,000.
Okay, so they passed the ball more than the Eagles like to pass the ball. I thought he had more than that. But so, that just tells you. So they pass the ball more, but the Eagles don't want to do that. They don't want to put the quarterback in a situation where there's more tendency to turn the ball over with interceptions.
Well, so
Devontae Smith, back to your original question, he's a number one receiver. He can go deep. He's got speed. He's tough. He gets hit and he gets right up. He'll go over the middle. He'll do whatever you want him to do. And he just keeps quiet. Whether he gets 2 targets or 10 targets, he's the same guy. He is a number one receiver.
Does he have a number one quarterback? Does he have a quarterback?
No, he's not as good as Pat. No, come on. You know the answer to that. And what are you asking me for? He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Josh Allen. He's not any of those guys. He's not those guys. He's somewhere 6 to 10, 7 to 10. And some people in football won't put him in the top 10. I'm just trying to be nice because I'm just a nice guy.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm a nice guy. You know what? Here's the thing that you got to do. You gotta try to, be somebody. You can't say positive things about things that aren't good. But you just try to move on. If Jalen Hurts, and I don't think the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl this year, but it's early. You don't know what their full team is yet. Because you got to kind of got to reset the salary cap, and you got to rebuild the offensive line. It's just Lane Johnson's still there, and
Howard, I've noticed something about you over since you're
okay,
more of a pacifist now. I mean, you're not.
well,
you're not
people
the
didn't
same
say
guy.
that for 2 weeks after Angela and I got on.
Well, no. I agree. Are you kidding me? Of course, I was going to jump on that diving board. Are you crazy? It's a goaltender's dream right there. That's a goaltender. That's a Ron Hextall kick save
I like
on
Ron
that
Hextall,
stuff. Are you
actually.
kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, especially when you have hosts now at WIP saying that they're better than you guys.
Hey, you know what? I like some of the people there.
Well, I would assume.
Well, no, I do. It's just, but it's just such nonsense. It's nonsense, and it's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. It's not. The world changes, they change, and I don't want to hear people, well, they've evolved. Evolved into what? It's just, so whatever the case may be, you just try to, hey, is Jalen Hurts, he won an MVP, but I think somebody on that defense, because they got it rolling, because they just made Patrick Mahomes look silly. That defensive line, and Zach Bond had a great Super Bowl, but they always give it to the quarterback. So, God bless him. And the quarterback got
Howard,
it.
do you think sports talk radio is dying?
Sports talk radio is what?
You think it's dying?
It's not as good as it used to be. And I think the business is.
Because if you want to use one thing too, look at late night TV. Late night TV is dying. I mean, look what's happening. It's dying. So platforms can die. Do you think sports talk radio?
Yeah, I think it's in trouble, but it'll never go away because there's nothing else to do. It's like music on FM stations. You go to different availabilities, podcasts. I guess people are still listening to Sirius because you can listen to the music that you want to listen to. They don't know how to put together a blend of music. It's not like they don't know how. They don't know what people like anymore. Like the oldie station is not, it's more new stuff than it used to be. So the radio business is in trouble. Is it dying? It's not going to die. It'll be around, but it's not going to be. Yeah, if you want to use that word, it's dying.
Here's why
it's not as good.
Here's my problem with it. 96 of the top 100 television shows was NFL, and the rest was college football and fill in.
Yeah.
Howard, think of this. If you don't have live sports programming going on in broadcasting today, you might as well shut NBC and CBS and ABC down. Nobody watches mainstream television for anything outside of live sports programming. So how can that be? Look at the ratings that you got for the NCAA tournament.
You know why they watch live?
I was talking to Phil Martelli about this 2 days ago, and Martelli's telling me, look at the ratings. They had 10 million people per game watching in the opening round of the NCAA tournament. And I'm going, don't tell me sports talk is dying. I think it's dudes sitting in the chairs, and it's dudes behind the mic that are killing it.
Well, there's no question the NCAA tournament is probably the most exciting time because it's a one and done situation.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, obviously it's good. What they've done to the sport is bad with the NIL. And I had Phil on too, and he just he explained that. But the thing is, live programming is what the networks buy, because people have to watch you don't want to watch it on demand, which now you can watch any show, I guess, on demand, but you can scroll through the commercials where you can't scroll. You're not going to watch sporting events on demand because you already know, when you already know the results, you're not going to watch it again. You don't have to watch the commercials, but you have to watch. That's why they pay so much money to pay as much as they're paying for the networks for NBA is a joke, but it's live sports programming that you have to watch and you don't watch on demand. Where radio, there's no reason to go back to it. And podcasts, you can always go back to it. It's like having it on demand. You know it. I know it by doing what we do. and it's just different. There's too many other options. But that's why sports you're watching, because you want it. Watching it live is the only way to really enjoy it, because you don't know the results, and that's why sports gets so much money from the networks, and it's unconscionable. I mean, there's going to baseball games, they're on so many different channels because all they care about is getting money. It's just making more money. I mean, the Phillies have a series against the Mets this year. It's on three different stations. People will scramble to find the games. And the Phillies Mets is, obviously a big series, but they'll be scrambling to find the game. It's too bad for the public. I'm going to mention something else, which I think is, I mentioned it on my show on Saturday morning. Harry Callis is a legendary human being voice.
Yep.
Did NFL films for a while, but his claim to fame, I mean, he did all the sports. His claim to fame was Phillies baseball. It was the best. And the radio guy they have now is outstanding. Scott Fransky, outstanding. But Harry Callis was the best. They had a restaurant with his name, food place called a restaurant in left field called Harry the K's.
You know his kid?
Yeah, Todd.
Yeah.
I did a game with Todd in spring training for the cable station.
Great.
I'm the only guy that worked with both father and son in the booth. I did the ninth inning of games.
Dad when he was working with the Rays.
Yeah, he working in Florida. Todd's terrific. I love Todd. But Harry Callis, the restaurant was called Harry the K's. Gone this year. Gone. Corporate name. Harry the K's is gone. It was called Harry the K's. Gone. They had a microphone with Harry the K on it in left field. Advertising took over for that. And the marketing people, the Phillies say, well, he's still going to sing High Hopes after the Phillies win. And he still has a statue in left field in the radio booth. That's not the same. He was always in front of people in left field, Harry the K. But the problem with sports, it's all about the money. Billionaire owners. And it's all about the money. There's never enough. And that's sad when you lack the loyalty of the best radio announcer in the history. And by some back in the day when I was a little kid, I remember Bill Campbell was really good, but Harry Callis was the best, absolutely the best. And the lack of loyalty taking Harry the K's down because they have to have a corporate sponsor that's going to pay millions. Never enough. It's never enough. Lack of loyalty is a problem in our country, in the business, and in sports. It's just, I want to end it here with this because you already got me to say more than I wanted to say.
Wait. I just got a text message from a friend of ours and said that David Yargoff did an interview over at Barrett Media, and he's very proud of the impact that he had at WIP when he was there.
I'm sure he's proud he's going to spend more time with his family.
You are gold, man.
Well, you know what? Hey, listen. Hey, if you want to go off on a silver carpet, that's fine.
On your back?
What's that?
On your guys' back? Come on.
Well, but it's just, hey, listen. They don't want to say they have financial problems. It's just whatever. He's proud. Yeah, I'm proud. What does that mean? I'm proud of what I did for that radio station for close to 40 years.
You built it.
Yeah. So, but I don't make a big deal of that. I'm not going to make a big deal.
Well, they should.
Yeah, but again, that goes back to
listen, Howard,
companies with loyalty.
Howard,
loyalty.
I got a guy
heart.
over here. I got a jersey over here that was given to me by Leroy Salmon. Okay.
Yeah.
Leroy Salmon was one of the greatest players of all time in NFL history. Yep. And when you talk about Buccaneer history, I always talk about the Mount Rushmore, and I talk about people like that we stood on the shoulders of in the NFL. there's a protocol in my life on how you do things and how people set the way and the road for people to do this thing. Unfortunately, there's been a curve in the road on the off ramp to where people have forgotten that and want to erase that history. You know,
heart and soul don't
appreciate
exist as much. Heart and soul. You have heart, your soul, and loyalty. Heart, soul, loyalty. You know,
Could you do sports talk radio today?
Yeah, sure I could. Why couldn't I? I mean, it's
Okay,
just,
so I would ask
people
you,
enjoy the
corporate
show
would
that I
be-
do on podcast.
Corporate would be up your ass, though, more with things that you say on things that you did in
Uh,
the past.
no, I mean, like, what could they? I have opinions. I don't think they would have an opinion. Be mad at me if I criticized a player or a team. I mean, it's just.
So if you criticize Jeffrey Lurie, you don't think the
But I don't. I don't think there's reason to criticize Jeffrey Lurie. So if I criticized him, but if I criticized
Howie?
Howie's done a good job. But I criticized Marion Campbell, who was a head coach of the Eagles at one time, and we talked about it. And it was okay. I says, "Hey, Marion, the players are talking behind your back." So that's what I said. What I said on the air. I mean, people that know me, and they know that I'm opinionated. They know that people that know me know that I'm nice to people. I had somebody get in touch with me from one of the teams. I hadn't seen that person or talked to that person for at least 15 years. He just happened to touch base with me on social media. Said, I just wanted to say hello. I said, why? He said, because you were always nice to me. But it's so much easier to be nice. And I understand loyalty is difficult nowadays because money gets involved in that. But you can still be loyal. You can still have a heart, and you can still do the right things for people. I mean, I know people that got let go from WIP 25 years, over 30 years, and it's just somebody got fired on Zoom, not even by their boss. That's just disrespectful. It just because they were just trying to save money. And I get it. It started, I'm telling you, it started with me, and it just, I'll be honest, it started with me. I didn't realize it at the time. I knew what they did was wrong, but it started with me. And then 500 people in 2025 in the company, the whole country in the company got let go.
Listen, there's a question here from somebody. Can you ask Howard if there's a media market teams out there that you think does it the right way?
Yes, because yes. Now you're going to ask me to name them.
Yeah. Well, give me one. Give me one station that you think does it the right way.
Oh, station. I thought you said a team.
Or a team. Wherever you want to go with
I'm telling you, the teams have to work with the people. I think the PR guy at the Phillies is really a nice. He was Kevin Gregg's son, the former umpire.
Okay.
I think he's a great guy. I think and I'm going to miss somebody. I know a couple of the PR people with the Giants, and they seem to be really nice people in the interactions I've had with them. I know somebody from the Arizona Cardinals, the PR guy, terrific. It's not what people say is not always nice, but you deal with it, and you just try to get the right message out and do it the right way. I don't want to not mention the guy from the Denver Broncos. They have a couple of guys out there.
Sakamora? Sakamora, what? I forget what his name was out there. He was a pretty good guy out there. Yes.
Yeah. Great guy.
Yep.
Great guy.
Yep.
From the Philadelphia area. It's just, but they're teams. I'm trying to think, baseball teams I haven't had. There's a guy that's from Philadelphia that works for the Cubs in the PR department. Now I can speak of teams. Now that was really the answer was teams, right?
Yeah. I got another one here for you. Do you think that
there's other people? I'm remiss if I don't mention all the people in baseball, and I apologize because I know there's some good people out there.
Do you think the media today sides with the teams too much?
Oh, Do I have to answer that question? Side with him. They get down on their knees for him. It's just, are you kidding me? The media just is not the written, and there's still the
Do
spoken
you think
media.
WIP kisses the Eagles' ass too much?
Sometimes, no, not too much as it. Sometimes they do, but I'll do this. I'm going to deal with more of the written media or the
Okay.
whatever it is. I can't remember the last time they've been critical. I'm just going to speak here in Philadelphia that they've been critical, really critical of the teams here. When I say teams, and they aren't with the Sixers for the most part. The Flyers are on their way up. It's really hard to criticize the Flyers. They're going
Big
in the
game
right
today,
direction.
right?
Yeah, they're really the coach. I think is terrific. Rick Tocchet, I think
Yep.
Danny Briere, the general manager, is terrific, and Keith Jones, the president, terrific. So you're not going to have that be a problem. But just trying to think of the media for the Eagles. Once in a while, you get a little bit of a 2.7 earthquake on the Richter scale, which is nothing, right? A 2.7. Once in a while, you get a 2.7. The Sixers, forget it. The Phillies, my gosh, you might not get some inside. They always don't tell. It's one thing. You get inside information because you're good and you work hard. I think there's a belief that you get inside information because you kiss their ass. And I'm just trying to think, and there used to be a lot of tough writers that cover the Phillies. Doesn't exist anymore.
Howard,
It's
can
kind
I
of a
ask
shame.
you?
It's kind of a shame. Kind of a shame.
Can I
But
ask-
hey, listen, they're good people. They just don't want to take the plunge that used to be there in taking the plunge. I got along with a lot of those people.
May I ask you a personal question?
May I?
May I? No, a personal question,
Uh-oh.
and you answer it any way you want, okay? All right. Do you find that since your son is in sports talk radio, that it's tough to talk about the business sometimes because you two may have a difference of opinion on approach, on what and how you go after teams? Has it been a good thing having both of you in the profession and in the profession he loves? Has that been a good thing for you two?
I think it's great for him because he was in management. He said he wanted to be in management. Then he obviously wanted to be on the air. It's a good thing for him as long as he's successful. That's a good thing. And my kids are successful, and I'm happy for that. And listen, when you take, and I never wanted them to pay a penny for their education, and I'm happy I did that because they didn't have that weighing on their shoulders when they went out into the real world of getting a job. And I would do that again and again and again. So I'm happy for him that he's got a job that he enjoys. But honestly, we don't, and I've said this, we don't talk about the station and we don't talk about the Sixers because the Sixers, he's delusional. He believed in that nonsense of the process where it was a complete disaster and they still stuck with Joel Embiid. That is just a total mistake.
Do you think you guys could have done a show together?
We were on the air together at times, and it was
no. Do you think you could have done a 236 year show with one another, like in afternoons? Do you think, like, with
is that how many days the weekdays are? 236.
Well, I think you and I do 236 back in the day when we were doing Monday through Friday. 230.
I worked every day, but I didn't even know what days.
I think we're not counting weekends.
Well, I guess I probably did more because that's how I got over 8,000.
Yeah,
shows.
like the Gullics. Do you think you and your son could have done a show together in Philadelphia, an afternoon drive?
We could have, but they'd have to have security in the studio. After a period of time, they'd have to have armed guards in the studio. Because we have a difference of opinion. Hey, listen, I'm not going to criticize him
No,
directly, although I believe I've been criticized. I'm not going to do that. It's just, hey, listen, he's got his opinion.
Hey, Angelo even told me the story about him saving his life with the cheesesteak, and he goes, I can't rip Spike for one reason. And I go,
well, Angelo asked me too. He says, would you have done that? I says, the only thing is I would have had to think about it before I did it.
No, you said probably not.
No, I said I'd have to think about it before I did it. I'd have to weigh the pluses and the minuses.
He goes, and I go, what about what Spike said? And he goes, I cannot rip that guy because he saved. He goes,
well, I'm not going to rip him because he's my kid. It's just, and he's not a kid anymore. As much as he does,
rip him over content.
That's okay. He believes what he.
Daryl Morey is a good general manager. I would take a dump on that and go show me where he's.
Well, I will just say Daryl Morey is the biggest fraud and con man in the history of upper management in the NBA. The biggest fraud and con man ever. He's a complete con man and a fraud. So I will say that, regardless of what he says. The bottom line is, it's just he does what he does. I don't think he's happy with his next birthday when that's coming up.
Oh man!
But whatever. It's just, hey, listen. But I'll still wish him a happy birthday.
That's great. I mean, listen. Your son followed in your footsteps. He's making a mark over there.
I don't. Well, he's smart, and he did a lot of himself. But there's certain things that I take pride in the fact that I tried to help him.
He shouldn't have got into management.
Well, he liked management.
He should be on the air, and he should.
Well, yeah, he wanted to.
He shouldn't have went up FAN.
Well, he was doing music for the longest time, so
Yeah.
that's why he got into management, I guess. And he just
the FAN thing. He should have stayed where he was. I mean, because he's better on the air. And I'm not saying he sucked I'm not saying that at all. Nobody. And plus, Boomer liked him, so that wasn't like that.
Yeah, Boomer's a good judge. I mean,
he liked him.
People, I like Boomer. Boomer almost strangled me one time because he didn't like me criticizing him as a football player.
He's gotten better though.
No, but he only strangled. But then we became friends after that.
Yeah, no, Boomer has. I've known Boomer over 40 years. We were teammates at Maryland before I went to Miami, and he and I are friends. And he's very sensitive guy. Very sensitive guy when he was younger, and he didn't take the criticism. I think it had a lot to do with him being drafted in the second round. He was really offended by that. And I'm like, what do you care? You played 13, 14 years. You're an MVP. What do you care? You're in the Super Bowl. He goes, yeah. And I go, yeah, you and Brady are like very petty. And so he goes, what do you rip? And I go, bro, it's all good. Howard, I got to tell you, man, it's been one of my favorite conversations with you because, again,
you got me to get people.
No, the yard off thing's awesome. I got to figure out how I can post it.
No, don't do that.
I'm not. I won't.
It was a sarcastic comment.
See, look at it. Look at you. That's just why you're more of a pacifist now.
I'm not more of a pacifist, but that's just going to,
come on, man.
Something like that. If you take that seriously,
off of what you did, telling everybody that he built the state.
Hey, he wasn't happy when he got demoted within the company.
With that station,
I mean, he got demoted within the company, I don't know, 15 years ago. He got relieved of his duties as a general manager, and he wasn't happy about that. And I understand that. And then he got back up to, whatever. But hey, it is what it is. The business is what it is. And it's kind of sad and it's kind of a shame. And let me tell you something. When a manager has success, Dave Roberts, I'll use him as an example.
Love Dave Roberts.
Okay, Dave Roberts, because he's obviously good, and he's a really, really good person too. Really good
Great
guy.
person.
Okay, but it's the players that won the championship. It's the players that won the World Series. When a team wins a World Series or a Super Bowl, all right, you're going to say Bill Parcells is a great coach, but he needed the players to do what they did for him. Bill Walsh was a great coach, but you needed Joe Montana and Steve Young. Well, actually, I guess Young didn't play under Bill Walsh. That was Seifert. Okay, but Joe Montana never lost a Super Bowl, never threw an interception in a Super Bowl. But you needed the players, and he had great players. All right, any great coach. And I don't consider Belichick a great coach because he milked Tom Brady, and it was an awful division. They always got a bye, so they always had an advantage because the division was awful and he had Brady. But whatever. But you still needed. So your leadership has to have the people, and when you don't give the people enough recognition for somebody to say, I'm happy at what I accomplished, that's great. But what about the people that helped you accomplish that?
So do you think Doorman Sirianni's a better coach than Belichick?
No. Well, yet to be determined. No, it's too. Wait a minute. Sirianni
is George Seifert.
Wait a minute. But he's only been a head coach for what, 5 years?
Yeah, Seifert won 2 Super Bowls, and no one considers that guy a great coach. He won 108 games and 35 losses. No one would ever consider that guy a great coach because he had a great organization around him.
Okay, you're the one that criticized Jalen Hurts, right?
Yes.
Okay, they won a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts, the quarterback.
Yeah.
What players won him the Super Bowl?
Okay, this is Zander's comments and what he says, too. He goes, well, Sirianni figured out how to win with that dude. So that makes him a good coach.
Well, I don't know.
And there's something to that. I won't lie to
He gets players to play hard for him. They love him, they respect him, and they play hard. He's creative. Hey, listen, at some point, everybody has an expiration date. John Harbaugh is a great coach, but he only won 1 Super Bowl, right?
Yep.
Okay, 1 Super Bowl. So it's just, and he did it with, who was his best player when he won that? Was it Lamar Jackson was the quarterback? Was he No,
it was Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco. Okay. So, but he had to have a great year and he had to have really good players.
He had a great defense, remember?
But that's right. They had
with Ray Lewis defense. And Ed Reed and them guys.
Yep. And it's the same thing with when the Giants won and beat the Patriots when they were undefeated.
Yep.
And then Sheila Manning got the MVP award.
Hey, wait a minute. I got to tell you about that game, though.
It got the MVP award, but that defense was off the charts.
Okay, that's fair, but take a look at what there's not one player on offense that will ever be considered a Hall of Fame player. And they beat that Patriots team. There's nobody, David.
They only scored 17 points in that game.
I'm just saying, Howard.
They only scored 17 points.
And they won. What do you care?
Well, they won.
What do you care?
Whoa. The other team only scored 10. So why did they win?
If you win a Super Bowl 3-2,
better than that. You should be better than that.
Oh, my God. Wait a minute.
Did you play the game? Did you play the damn game?
And wait. So wait a minute here. If you're telling me if you win a Super Bowl 3-2, that's bad.
Well, it's not bad. You won.
You won.
But you had to have somebody. So
Howard, here's a rule for you. Here's a rule for you.
That's a bad.
Here's a rule for you. It's not how you drive; it's how you arrive.
That's correct.
Okay?
That's correct. Okay.
I don't care how you drive. As long as you get there.
Okay. Plexiglass Barris was open on that final touchdown.
Oh my God.
I mean, it was wide open. He was wide open. And Brady was chased all over the place that game. He had no time.
What'd you make of football this last weekend?
Garbage.
Wait. Tom Brady got $75 million for 3 hours of work from the Saudis. Jalen Hurts got $2.5 million, and Devontae got like $1 million, and Barkley got $1 million for 3 hours of work. I don't know what the NFL's doing, and you know as well as I do. To see Jeffrey Lurie with a $50 million, $25 million receiver, and a $20 million back running around doing that, I kept doing this the whole game. My family was watching it, and we're going, holy shit. I can't believe the Eagles allowed that.
Why? You can't get hurt. You're not allowed to touch the guy.
Wait. knees being blown out on non-contact. You see it all the time.
Yeah, no, you can't stop them. It's like you can't stop players from going and playing in the World Baseball Classic.
Howard, that's right. Well, they're pushing this. The
You
league,
know what? There was somebody else. The NFL obviously is a strong arm. Was that an NFL? Was that an NFL licensed?
actually,
game?
no, it wasn't. It was
was
through
not.
Fanatics, but the
And
television.
okay, you mentioned it. Michael Rubin is one of the most brilliant people, and I've known Michael for 30 years.
And he's tied into Brady.
Well, yeah, he's part of it. He pays Brady as a person in Fanatics.
Right.
He's tied into Brady. He's tied into a lot of guys. Michael Rubin makes everything, and let's say 98% of everything Michael Rubin does, and he owns Fanatics, obviously. Almost everything he does turns to gold. I'd say platinum. Platinum's worth more than gold.
But
This
Fanatics
guy
is a business partner with the NFL.
Well, yeah, because Michael Rubin handles all their products on Fanatics. I know the whole
NFL properties.
properties. Yeah, and he does a great job with them. Yeah, so he's tight with all them. So Michael Rubin is the one that made that work. Because without him, you couldn't have gotten all those guys together.
$75 million.
And what did Tom Brady need $75 million for?
70.
When's enough?
Well, he makes $375 on that Fox deal, and he just made another $75 million. I mean,
he makes a lot of money from a lot of things. I'll tell you, he probably makes another. Well, now it's 75. He probably makes another over $100 million more on all his extraneous commercials and different things. Yeah.
He probably makes about $300-400 million a year. He owns. Remember, he's a part owner or a percentage owner minority of the Raiders.
Yeah, that's another thing. I do have a problem with him doing games when he's doing games for Fox.
Think about that for a second, Howard. So you're in there talking to Lamar Jackson, and you're doing this. Hey, so like when you guys run that two-eye safety and you're throwing the football and you're throwing that waggle route, are you trying to get the tight end open, or are you trying to get the receiver open? And when Lamar answers that, how does Brady not go back to the fucking Raiders?
Well, I don't know that he gets that in depth with the questions, but he's not supposed to be
limited.
He's not supposed to be in the building, but he can talk to them. But still, talking to him is, and then he goes down before the game and talks to the guys, which is okay. That's all part of what they do. But he sees it, and I just don't think. I think there's a conflict of interest, but the NFL is not going to touch Tom Brady. Hey, listen, they gave him a 4-game suspension for cheating. I mean, 4 games? Are you kidding me? 4 games, and he restructured his contract for that year so he didn't lose that much money because he knew he was going to get. He knew he was going to get suspended that year.
Howard Flamethrower Eskin. That's your new name. You torched that building along with, and rightfully so. Those guys were crowing about how great they were, and
I'm not they're good. Some of the people there are really good people, really, and I really like those.
Nobody's talking about good people. Nobody. I'm not talking about good people.
But sports talk
Howard,
radio.
They're not good. Howard, that's not a good lineup.
Sports talk radio is not as good as it used to be.
Well,
and it has nothing to do with evolving. It has nothing to do with an old guy yelling on the lawn. That's a total nonsense. I still can do it. Maybe not as well as anybody, but I can be right up there.
But you're unique, Howard. It was never about being the best. It was about being unique.
No, right. I didn't care about that. I just cared about having fun and doing what I did, and I didn't want to change. But
isn't that crazy? People used to ask me, they go, "Do you think you're the best?" I go, "I don't want to be that. I don't know that. I don't know who's better or who's worse. I just know this. I'm unique.
Well,
and that's all I care about."
I can't believe that people. And we're talking about it for 2 weeks of what I said. I just expressed an opinion.
No, it's actually
fact.
grown like a tree now to where like Boomer and Brandon Tierney are going after each other.
I know Brandon Tierney. I don't know what happened up there with those guys.
Well, here, I guess he said that Gio was a bad teammate, and Gio took that offensively, and he went back and said, there's nobody at this radio station, including Spike, when Spike was here, that liked him. And nobody liked Brandon Tierney or to work with him. And he even brought Spike's name up. And so, like, he went in on him. He goes, he has no personality. He's not that funny. He has no personality, and he doesn't get it. And see, that's what, when Angelo and you were doing that, I would have had both of you guys on the next week doing shows against those guys, and I would have created something that puts the other station to sleep. But no, you're too narrow-minded, and you don't get it. There's a gimmick to it, too.
No, I'm not narrow-minded. You mean the company?
No, not you, but yeah. I would have put your asses on if this guy, David, who's going into the great beyond now to be with his family, he just had his ass kicked out. What you should have done was bring you two guys in, have you guys do a show, and then go back and forth. It would have been classic radio.
Well, wait a minute, but he was spending time with his family, so he didn't have time to think about that.
Yeah.
And his wife's very nice too, by the way.
What do you mean by that?
No, stop. Very nice person.
Howard, I
didn't want to put her in the mix of being not such a nice person.
Oh my God, I love talking with you. You never have.
I know you do.
Listen, I talked to you about 20 years ago. I had you on my Tampa station. You're the same dude. Well,
because
no, if you don't remember this, and I know you don't, because I went after Erin Andrews. I think she stinks as a sideline reporter, and I went in on her, and I probably went way over the top, and I did. And you came in the next week and just went, she does suck. She's not good. And I'm going like, oh my God. And I had you on, and she goes, because you know why? She's a Gator. Her dad was a newscaster in Tampa when I was on. And I said she sucked. She was no good. And I went over the line. Some of the things I said, I should not have said it. I got a daughter now, and I regret some of the things. But I remember going like this. I remember going, Howard, and I read it somewhere, and you just went, she does suck. She's not good. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's stupid. And I'm like,
I didn't say she was stupid, but I don't think she too many notes on a pad.
Yeah. And I remember, and I go like, my God Almighty, I'm so happy to have that, because
you know what's interesting. She never got along with me on the sidelines. Every other female sideline reporter, I got along with great. And every once in a while, I stay in touch with those people.
Yeah.
And one of them just had a birthday, and I wished her a happy birthday. And it's just.
Like, there's great women broadcasters. Hannah Storm's a great broadcaster. I mean, I know her very well. She's great, even though she went to Notre Dame. It's all good. I mean, I always give her shit about that because, when she was at school and I was at school, we used to kick the shit out of their team. And so
yes.
When Miami was beating them people up, I said, hey, I guess Touchdown Jesus took a knee this week, huh? She got so mad at me.
Tell her South Bend is the haven of hypocrisy.
Hey, no wonder that guy's resting and going off to be with his family here. Hey, Howard, thank you. He said he built WIP into what it is today.
He didn't say that.
Barrett Media.
No, he didn't say that.
He said that he had to figure out a way to give a nice send-off to Angelo. And, I was looking around for, I was looking here and I go, here's a nice interview here. And I go, yeah, you're talking about the life of Angelo, talking about a nice send-off. And I'm looking down here and I go, funny, I don't see a nice send-off for Howard here. Where the hell is that? Where's the send-off for Howard? I must have missed it. Huh.
It's called lack of loyalty and no heart.
You mean no balls?
Well, I don't know. I've never seen him with his pants down. So,
well, if I did, I guarantee you, I'd be calling them Raisinets. Howard.
That's not right.
Hey, Howard, thank you. I appreciate you, and I do love you, man. You're one of the best of all.
That's great. All right. Just be careful what you put out there.
Oh no, I've already been.
Okay, my next show is tomorrow night. Wednesday night. 7:30 live, but of course it's on all the social media platforms forever. Subscribe to YouTube and they'll notify you. Don Mattingly, who's now a Phillies coach, is on with me tomorrow with baseball season starting on Thursday. So I don't know if it starts on Wednesday night. I don't know if it's Wednesday night with another team, but I know Thursday is when the Phillies open the season.
Here is let me give you a quick one on Mattingly. The only era of Yankee baseball that truly one of the absolutely greats, they never did enough to build a great baseball team around him. He's truly one of the greats. He's not the greatest Yankee first baseman, obviously it's Gehrig, but boy, I'll tell you, he's the second best greatest Yankee first baseman.
It's a disgrace that he's not in the Hall of Fame.
It is. You know,
Yep.
as long as it took, like, who do you think was a better player, Mattingly or Dick Allen?
Dick Allen, because he had different types of personalities, obviously. Dick Allen wasn't a good fielder. But Dick Allen in a 5-year stretch, Mattingly had a 5-year stretch that was unbelievable. Dick Allen in a 5-year stretch was better than Mays and Aaron. Yeah. But he hit home runs, hit for average, had speed. So he did all those things. Yeah, Dick Allen was a better player. But some of the guys that are getting into the Hall of Fame, you gotta be kidding me. Well, I mean, Scott Rowland was a great defensive third baseman, but were his numbers Hall of Fame?
Hall of Fame.
Well, how about these people that are talking about Chase Utley as a Hall of Famer? That's a joke. Brett Boone has the same numbers as Chase Utley, and same numbers, but Brett Boone has 4 Gold Gloves. Utley has 0. Utley is not a Hall of Famer. Is not a Hall of Famer.
No, Rowland's not either. Machado's a better ball player.
Oh, Machado is, yeah. Well, but whatever. There's too many guys that get in now. Jeff Kent, it's about time he got in because he had some really good numbers.
Think Andrew Jones was?
Who was it? Brett Boone said he played with Andrew Jones.
Great center fielder.
He said he was a great player.
He hit over 430 homers. I mean, you know.
Yep.
You know, you think Jim Edmonds is?
I'm not so sure. I got to look at his numbers closer, but he was a really good player, but I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer.
Jimmy Rollins, you think he is?
I think he's more of a Hall of Famer. He's borderline. I'm not sure he is. He's borderline, but he's certainly more deserving than Chase Utley, and Jimmy Rollins has no chance. Chase Utley's still on the vote. You know, it keeps on increasing every year. When the number increases for your Hall of Fame voting, did he hit more home runs during that 1-year period where the percentages of votes go up? Did he hit more home runs? Did he get some base hits? Did he? What did he do in that year to get more? Don't even get me started.
What are you talking about? Vitamins?
No. I mean, no. What did he do in the time that he's not playing?
Okay.
Yet he gets a higher percentage of vote each year.
Got it.
What did he do to get a higher percentage of vote? What did he do?
I don't know. Do you think Bonds should be in?
No, because he was a Hall of Famer. But hey, if you tell the truth, they might have let you in. They might have let you in. The truth will always set you free.
You think Rose should be in?
Yes. Yeah, he didn't cheat the game. He didn't cheat the game. He didn't cheat the game. I know that for a fact. I knew Pete really well. Whether he bet on baseball, but he didn't bet against his own team.
Yeah, but the thing, my problem with that whole thing was with Rose, and I interviewed Rose one of the last interviews before he died right here on this show. And you know what I said to him? I said, Pete, you were never, ever questioned on being a gambler when you played. It was when you managed. How did you tie both of those in? I mean, Howard, how did they tie both of them in? I mean, Rose the player and Rose the manager, aren't they two different dudes?
Hey, listen, yes. If you don't want him to work for a team, but they wanted him for what was that
All Century.
The All Century team. Oh, because somebody was paying for it, and they said if Pete Rose isn't there, yep, yeah. It's just so they're hypocrites. It's kind of a shame. It's just he almost got in, and then he had something come out. Schmidt and Joe Morgan and somebody else went up to talk to the commissioner. I think it was Selig.
Was it Selig?
I don't know if it was Giamatti or Selig, but I think it was Selig.
Listen, I say this: if Giamatti had not died, because Giamatti had some type of handshake agreement with Rose that he would sit out a year or two. But when Giamatti died and Faye Vincent took over, Faye Vincent was
adamant about not letting him in.
Adamant on not letting him in.
Yeah, he's all. How can you have the guy that has the most hits, one of the most recognizable players in the game of baseball ever?
You can't say that you can't say the history of baseball without saying Pete Rose.
Yeah, right. That's exactly right. So he should.
Be by the way, this weekend too, right? On Saturday, you guys.
Saturday morning at 8:00, and we'll talk the NCAA because it's getting into those final teams getting into the to the Final Four, and it'll be all the top teams, all the teams that pay the most money. So what that's what we'll talk about.
My friend,
Mattingly tomorrow night, Wednesday night.
Fantastic! I can't wait. Mazel tov. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate you very much, and you know this. Thank you so much, Howard.
All right, thanks, and you have a great day, and try to keep me out of trouble.
Yeah, you know what? I have to put my pen down now because I said I promise. So I'm gonna be a good guy here. Howard, thank you, my friend.
All right, take care.
You got it. The great Howard Eskin. That's a great conversation. All right, let me pay some bills here, and let me do a timeout here before Zander kills me. Hey, without a doubt, the number one injury law firm in all of America for a reason. That is Morgan & Morgan. I tell you about the great family-run and family-owned business. They've owned it for over 25 years. And without a doubt, my friends, I tell you about the story right here in Pennsylvania, $650K a family was offered. They ended up getting a settlement of nearly $30 million. Or how about the family down in Florida that was initially offered $350,000? They ended up getting nearly $12 million in settlement. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sales sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand.
Thank you.
We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. the New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Phil's National Football Show. I saw a super here. Let me go back and read this here. Somebody sent in $10. I want to make sure I get it. Hit the like button, guys. Appreciate it. Eagles. The reason Jalen doesn't have 4K yards a season like these other quarterbacks who have multiple 1,000-yard receivers is because those elite quarterbacks throw 700 yards. That's correct. And they don't throw across, and he doesn't throw across the middle of the field. And this is why I'll say he'll never throw for $4,000. He doesn't have an intermediate passing game. Tom Brady and all these guys, hey, get this. They think if you're a big arm, you're a 5,000-yard passer. That's not the truth. Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady made a career out of checkdowns. That's why they throw for a shitload of yards. That's absolutely true. Okay? So you're right. It's not because he can't. Dude, if a guy like what's that guy? Blake Bortles could throw for $4,000 or something like that, or some of these other stiff quarterbacks, how are they doing it? Well, most of those guys are from behind, playing from behind, and they have check down games. Still, Sidney Brown might be better off in a defense where they hunt not a passive defense. Like, that's a great take. That's a great take. Okay, that's a really great take. You're right. In an aggressive defense, you know where else he could have been good too, Twiz? Maybe in a Jim Schwartz. In like Cleveland. That might have been a great that's a really good take. Sills, if you were at IP in the 90s and 2000s, you would have been as big as Cataldi and Eskin. JAKIB is the new WIP, but tell Big Z you need a midday show, maybe like Ike Reese and someone to carry the conversation. Matter of fact, man, it came close. I was supposed to take over the mid-morning. I was supposed to go 10-1 right after Angelo got off the air. I was supposed to go 10-1. And I was going they were talking, they flew me in, and I had talked, and Andy Bloom was the PD at the time. And we were gonna, like, I was very close to taking that job. And Angelo, and we had to keep everything under. I still have the contract. I have that one at WEEI in Boston. I had done a lot of work in Boston, and they were doing everything in their power for me to go up to Boston. And they wanted me the guy Greg Hill, who does the show now, they settled on him after the whole thing with me and them didn't work out. I was still with Odyssey. Like, everyone assumes I got fired in San Diego. I didn't get fired in San Diego. If you look at all the correspondence when I left the fan in San Diego, it still says Sileo's with the company. I was still working at WEEI. I was doing nights from San Diego, believe it or not. And they were grooming me to do the mornings. I was going to take over for Dennis and Callahan. So I was going to do that. Joe Bell had talked to me, and me and Carton had talked about doing something on The Fanatic. It just never like transpired. Like me and Craig were going to do something on The Fanatic. Joe Bell had said something to me, and the guy was such a bullshitter. Dropping knowledge. That was at the old San Diego, LA station. Didn't Tony Banks from the Ravens have a big arm? How'd that work out? Yeah, big arms don't. Isn't it funny? Joe Montana didn't have a big arm. Peyton Manning didn't have a big arm. Brady never really had one. And you look at the numbers and where they are in the all-time list, it was because of checkdowns. So who was the toughest old lineman you ever faced at Miami? Probably Mark Stebnowski at Pitt. I think Wisniewski, when he was at Penn State, those two dudes, Wisniewski and Stebnowski. I had a great game on Wisniewski. And Stebnowski, he and I went back and forth. Mark was a really good player. He was an undersized guard, though, and that's why they moved him to center. He was really good. And I would say that you could make the argument, Russ Grimm, Stebnowski, Bill Fralick, they had a shitload of great old linemen, like back in the day. Just a great one. Brady was great because he knew where the ball – pre-snap conversations with Tom Brady are iconic. How he prepared for games. His preparation for like games and how he prepped and how he got ready for games was just legendary. How Brady knew where to throw the ball is a different conversation. Doing what? I'm not sure what you're implying. Different conversation? On what? That stupid stuff about, like, bro, when you get to the line of scrimmage, do you think that because you saw something on a tape that has any bearing whatsoever in the middle of a play call, you don't have any idea what they're going to do defensively? You have no idea. I mean, his preparation for the game was just second to none. It did not help. After all that bullshit, they won 3 more Super Bowls. So wait a minute. You think Spygate had anything that really? They won 3 Super Bowls after that. They won 3 Super Bowls. After that whole conversation, 3. 2 after the Deflategate thing. Brady won 3 more. And then he went down to Tampa and he won. I mean, come on, man. Yeah, no. Hey, thanks for the history of the game. Love the history of the game. Love the game, period. I do. I see Levante David, by the way, retired today. Hall of Fame guy? Probably not. Really a great player, though. Played his entire career in one building. Just great. Guys, I appreciate you very much. We will do Battle Royale tomorrow. I'll try to get Coach Jason Brown on with us as well. Guys, I appreciate you very much. 2 to 6 tomorrow, and we'll see you on the flip side.